Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. Welcome into the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers in Nashville, Tennessee. Jamie, how you doing, buddy?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good, man.
No.
Just enjoying life on the road once again. You know, we're back out for a quick one here in Music Town. Well, Nashville, we got out last night a little bit. St. Patty's Day's a little bit different in Nashville. I can tell you that. It's not quite the same.
You have a good time?
Country music and things like that. It was good.
Now, Jamie, I'm at your spot. I'm trying to get adapted over here. It's a little clutter. The ear jack is a little jacked up. If I touch my headphones, I can't hear anything. I don't know. And maybe that's why when I'm talking to you, you never hear me. I get it now. I didn't understand it before, but now when I'm talking, you're just kind of looking off into space. You don't hear anything I say.
Sometimes. I've only been asking for that thing to be fixed for 2 or 3 years now. It's not a big deal.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Your Blues take on the Nashville Predators tonight at 7 p.m. Pregame starts at 6 p.m., and you can catch them right here starting at 6 p.m. Jamie, this team has been playing really, really well. I know you know this. You know you are the hockey guy. They call me the hockey guy, but you're really the hockey guy. How far can this Blues team go? What is the ceiling realistically for this team this year?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Because chronologically, you've got to take care of your own business here first to get into the playoffs. And although they've been playing fantastic hockey against pretty much every team that they've played since the Four Nations break, you still are in a tough spot because you played so terrible in January and you were inconsistent throughout the season, so much so that you didn't even put together a 3-game win streak until recently. So they've dug this hole. They've got to get themselves out of it. But I will say this, Carey, that if the Blues sneak into the playoffs, and let's say they play the Winnipeg Jets, I don't think Winnipeg's thrilled about the matchup. I don't. I think Winnipeg would much rather play Calgary Flames, Vancouver Canucks, Utah Hockey Club, any one of those teams, because right now, I can tell you this for a fact, walking around the league and being in all these different buildings and talking to different people, everybody's talking about the Blues right now. They're talking about how well they're playing, how well they're checking, how tight they are defensively, that they're not giving up a lot of grade A opportunities, not giving up a lot of shots on goal. Jordan Binnington's been very good. They've got 3 lines that are now scoring. Zach Bolduc is emerging as a star player. There is a lot of things that people are talking about in a positive way about these Blues. So I think if they sneak in, because there's still a lot of work to do, whoever they play in the first round is not going to be not very happy with it.
Jamie, I was thinking about this today, heading into the studio. Do you think the Blues are on a similar path to what the Panthers did 2 years ago, where they snuck into the playoffs, they played the best team in the Boston Bruins, and then all of a sudden they find themselves in the Stanley Cup against the Vegas Golden Knights? Do you see any similarities between that team and this team?
I think the only real similarity would be the fact that Florida had to go on a tear just to get into the playoffs. I mean, you look at the makeup of that team, and it's almost the exact same team they had the following year that won the Stanley Cup, and that includes some star players.
Right.
Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart scored over 50 goals. Sam Bennett had a great year. Bobrovsky had a great year. I think there's more star power on that Florida team, just the way it's made. But I can see what you're referencing when you talk about a team that have to go on a bit of a tear, just get in, and then be really difficult to play against. We could go back to, I believe, the LA Kings, their first Stanley Cup championship. I mean, they barely made it into the playoffs, and they had some good players, Kopitar, Doughty, and that. They were much younger, so they weren't like superstars yet. But that, to me, is a more comparable team because they got Jonathan Quick that stood on his head, too, and stole a couple of series and things like that. And we all know Jordan Binnington could duplicate that. So, for me, that would be a good comp.
I think the Blues have been playing outstanding. We talked about the third line a couple of weeks ago. Yesterday, we had audio from Justin Falk. He was talking about selfless. And Jamie, when we had Monty on last week, he was talking about playing selflessly, playing for one another. You've talked about the guys stepping in front of slap shots and blocking all of the shots, and they're iced up and bruised up after games. it feels like this team has found its identity. It feels like this team is playing for one another. It's not like they didn't like each other, right? They care and love for one another, but you can see it on the ice at this moment. Are we hearing?
What is going on? I thought it was thunderstorm. Can you hear that, Jamie?
No.
Oh, it's
okay,
loud.
so maybe the listeners can't hear it,
All right.
but it sounds like there are thunderstorms, and I look outside, and maybe my
Something's
ears
drilling.
are just confused because it looks sunny and beautiful outside right now.
They're drilling something in the building.
have
I don't
to
know
be.
what it is. But this team, this team has been playing for one another, and I think that's the most exciting part. You see Carey get knocked down and Schenn go over there and start punching the guy in the face. Like, Jamie, I know you enjoy that, but I enjoy it as well. And I think the fans enjoy it. They love seeing this team play together and playing as hard as they have. It's just exciting. This is more fun to watch than we've seen in a couple of years for the St. Louis Blues.
So let's go back to November 25th, I believe is the correct date. And on that day, Jim Montgomery became the new head coach of the St. Louis Blues. And he was standing in the bowels of MSG about to give his first little press conference as the Blues head coach. And a couple things he said immediately were that the St. Louis Blues play blue-collar hockey. St. Louis, the city of St. Louis is a blue-collar town, and the Blues have to play blue-collar hockey. It's taken all of that time until the coming out of this break for this team to embrace that identity. And that's what you're seeing now. When you see guys like Holloway, Carey, Thomas blocking shots, you see Brayden Schenn stepping up all the time physically. You see other guys stepping up physically. You see Walker, Fox, Torpchenko running around hitting everything that moves. Like, that's blue-collar hockey. And one more thing, too, to add to that is there are a lot of new faces on this team this year when the season started. I think there were, 6 or 7 new faces to start the season. That's a lot of new personalities in the locker room, Carey.
Yep.
And you know that from being on a football team, like the even bigger roster on a football team. But it takes a while sometimes for new guys to get used to each other, to get used to the current players, for everybody to kind of find their spot within the group. And I think that everybody right now has finally found their spot within this group, and they're maximizing that to the best of their ability.
Jamie, does that start with Brayden Schenn? We talked yesterday, and BK brought up an interesting name that I didn't really think about, but one of the players that has been a driving force for how this Blues team has come together and they're playing, this brand of hockey now is Dylan Holloway, him working with Jordan Carey, maybe bringing a different element to the team. What are your thoughts on both of those players?
Well, Schenn, obviously, he's the captain. To hear the guys talk about him following that 1,000th game and to just know the guy and have been a friend with him for a long time now, he's just, you don't meet a better person. Mm-hmm. He's a high-character individual. That's the best way. And as far as concerned, yeah, Holloway and Carey are like peanut butter and jelly this year. Like, they just, they were, They were drawn to each other from a standpoint of the way they have similar speed and skills and things like that. And then they've been working together after practice on numerous things throughout the season. And now they're line mates. And that line we know is absolutely murdering it this year. They're playing fantastic. So, yeah, Dylan Holloway he's a hockey nut is what he is. He gets to the rink. He shoots pucks off ice. He shoots pucks on the ice. He's out there working on his edges. He's out there he's shooting pucks all the time. He's in the gym. He's on the bike. Like, hockey is his life. And so when you add a guy like that to your roster and your current group sees a guy like that working as hard as he is, I'm not going to say it's the Ryan O'Reilly effect because they're two different players, but a very similar mentality to where when he gets to the rink, he's a true professional.
Now, as we turn to tonight's game, Blues take on the Nashville Predators. The biggest question I have, Jamie, in terms of Nashville is, are the beers still expensive down on Broadway?
Yeah, it's Aubrey, quite honestly. I can't even believe it. Last night, we ordered 2 beers. It was like $20. $10. What are we doing here? I can walk up to the store and buy 18 beers for the price of that. Like, it's cool, though. The places are cool. We had a good time. We stopped a couple of different spots and whatnot. But, yeah, everything here is just in the league. And there's certain places like $2 a beer Got some old dude singing country on a bench somewhere in this corner of the bar. And now, like, these bars are extravagant. They're 3 levels high, massive stage, charging you $4,000 for alcohol. Like,
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Carey Davis. Andrew Marsh. Stay involved with the show with our Air Comfort Service text line. Get your text in 314-399-9646 or with the Air Alliance team YouTube chat, our Snake Pits. You can stay involved there as well. Coming up, we know who our opening day starter is for the St. Louis Cardinals. We don't have a clue about much else. We'll talk about the roster construction and what we expect for the 2025 season for the Cardinals when we return on the Fast Lane.
when it comes time to sell your home, you're going to need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent to do that for you. Take it from me, get to know St. Louis's real estate expert. That's Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Here's a couple reasons why you should call Gloria. One, she's been in the business for over 20 years. She knows exactly what she's doing when it comes time to sell your home. She knows what price to ask. She knows what improvements maybe you need to make to sell your home fast and for the most money. And let's not forget that she also specializes in knowing the St. Louis area, which means she knows exactly what the right price range is for your home and to get it sold quickly and get you, again, the most money for your home. So please give her a call today. She is the best. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number's 314-325-6888. Again, that's Gloria Liu. Her number, 314-325-6888. And you can always visit her on her website at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. Your time check is 2:18. Your time is brought to you by Clarkson's Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And before we broke, I was talking about the Cardinals and their messaging for the 2025 season. We know who the opening day starter is, but we don't know much else. So have the Cardinals... have they botched their messaging leading into the 2025 regular season? And, Jamie, we talked about it yesterday. Victor Scott has been playing outstanding, but there are reports that Katie Wu said he may not make the opening day roster, and it may be Michael Ciani. You may have Lars Nootbaar playing center field. You may not know who else is doing what else. And so the messaging is a bit confusing. What are your thoughts about this 2025 season and how the Cardinals are going to go about it and the roster construction for this team?
Yeah, I mean, leave it up to the Cardinals to do this once again to their fan base. I mean, it's really not surprising. But what is surprising is that the team is not more predetermined. And what I mean by that is knowing who the hell's playing where. And we're getting to the end of spring training. These players should be in a spot to where you know what you're getting. Mm-hmm. And you just don't. And Victor Scott's having a great spring training, and to hear that he might not even stick around is puzzling to me, for sure. You know, and you just, I don't know, man. I don't know, Carey, I don't know if the Cardinals know who the hell is going to play where yet. Like, I just don't know if they even know. Like, I feel like Ollie's out there watching the games going, well, maybe that guy's good there. We'll try him in a different position tomorrow. Well, maybe he's good there. And then I think Mo has just pretty much removed himself from everything because this is last year of his deal. He's just kind of walking off into the sunset. He's like, you guys, hey, Chaim Bloom, you deal with it. I did this to you, you know? I just don't know if, honestly, to sum it up, I just don't know if the Cardinals have any idea who's playing where yet.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think we're still trying to figure out, is there a spot every day for Nolan Gorman? We had BK on yesterday, and he thinks that it's going to look like Nolan Gorman at second base, Brendan Donovan in left field, and Lars playing center field, which gives you Alec Burleson as your everyday DH, and you can kind of flip that around based on who's pitching. Maybe Luke and Baker get some time to play DH as well. But I think that this is part of the problem. Obviously, and BK mentioned it yesterday, part of the main problem was the inability to trade Nolan Arenado, because that gives you that flexibility where you can put Gorman at third, Brendan Donovan is playing second, Lars is in left, and then you can have Michael Ciani or Victor Scott in center field, and all things are corrected, right? But the inability to trade Nolan Arenado kind of puts you in this position, and I've been on the mindset that if you play and perform well, you should be on the team and you should be playing every day. And Jamie, you know this as a former athlete, and I talked about it. I was frustrated yesterday because as a player, right, you go into training camp, you go into spring training, and they tell you if you do your job well, you'll have a job here, right? And Victor Scott has done that. And yet he seems to be the odd man out, the one on the outside looking in. And as a player, I told BK yesterday, we probably have to fist fight in center field. Me and a manager, me and a coach, me and a front office guy. Because don't lie to me. Tell me what it is. I'll do my job, and then give me the opportunity. And it feels like this is the exact opposite of what has been told to some of the players.
Yeah, this is the system that works against the young players, and it's no different in the NHL. Like if you look at this year. You know, the Blues were in a roster crunch type position, and Matthew Kessel got sent down to the American Hockey League because he didn't have to clear waivers where other players would have had to have cleared waivers. I don't think it's any different for the Cardinals right now, that if Victor Scott heads down to Memphis, it's because the Cardinals can do that. Mm-hmm. He's got options, and they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to utilize the rules to their advantage. Does it mean it's right? No, it doesn't. But, you know, teams got to figure out how to do certain things before they move on from certain players. And if Victor Scott going down to Memphis gets him in the lineup every single day, that's probably long-term, as much as we hate it, probably long-term better for him than becoming a bench bat for the Cardinals because they're still trying to plug Lars in center field every freaking day.
My issue is, like, what has changed, though, from a couple months ago to now? Like, you know who you wanted to play, right? Like, why even make the center field job even a competition when there was really no competition to begin with? if like Lars Nootbaar, and this is all, we're all working based on, what Katie Wu put out on in her article and whatnot. But, who's to say the Cardinals might not do this? But let's be honest, they probably will. Like, why even say there was a center field job open? Why even have the competition? Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's it's the Cardinals. Okay, let's just preface it with that.
Bad messaging.
It's terrible messaging. I totally agree. And I don't know what their plan was from the beginning. And that's probably to your point, Marshy, is, you had Victor Scott and Michael Ciani they're both unbelievable defensive center fielders. They are. Victor Scott's bat looks like it plays a little better than Ciani's right now. But Lars Nootbaar to center field, they started that last year, Marshy. If you remember, there were lots of games at the start of the season last year where Lars found his way into center field for some odd reason. And it's like, you just knew they were, even the year before, they tried it a few times, and you just knew that the Cardinals are going to keep trying to go back to the well because they're trying to find a regular spot for Lars Nootbaar. I don't know why it's center field. I don't know why it can't just be right field. I guess because they want Jordan Walker to be there long term and to keep him in the lineup, or even left field. Brendan Donovan has to go somewhere. I guess what I'm saying is all roads lead back to the fact that the Cardinals could not trade Nolan Arenado. That's really what it is. Had they traded Nolan Arenado, there would be a spot for everybody at the table, and you wouldn't be worrying about trying to shoehorn a player into a position that he's not maybe capable of completely playing yet. And you wouldn't be worried about roster problems. Everybody would be getting the reps that they want. So, yeah, all roads lead back to them not able to trade the big boy at third base.
Yeah, go ahead, Marsh.
At the end of the day, this is why Cardinal fans are fed up with this team. Like, we get a text from battery-operated boyfriend. They say one thing. they say one thing and do the opposite. Stupid. Hopefully the front office has zero questions as to why fans are pissed off and fed up. This is why fans are irritated, because they're told one thing. Oh, it's a youth movement. No, it's not.
Well, I think part of the problem is, like, Jamie, you spoke on it very well. Victor Scott having options, being able to be sent down. I understand the baseball aspect of it and trying to get those guys at bats, but I look at it from a player's perspective, and I know you do as well. As a teammate, as a guy that is watching a guy that is leading your team in spring training in hits, leading the team in stolen bases, leading the team in on-base percentage, I think he's third in OPS. If you're telling me, and you already mentioned that him and Scott play stellar defensively, if you're telling me that this guy that has done what seems to be everything right this offseason, this spring training leading up to the season, that's the guy you send down, then my mind goes to, well, are we trying to win? What are we trying to do? What is the goal for the season if this is the case, that you send down one of the best players that has been playing well, the best in spring training? And some people will say, well, it's spring training, it doesn't matter. For some players, it does. For some players, that's how you make a team. For some players, that's how you make a starting roster, starting position in the field, wherever. That's why Jordan Walker was on the opening day roster, because he performed so well a couple of years in spring training. Had he stunk, they'd have sent his butt down. So you can't say, well, it doesn't matter about spring training. Yeah, it does. For some players, it matters more than others. You cannot worry about what Sonny Gray is doing because he's been in the league forever. And you can say, it's okay, he'll figure it out. But a younger player like Victor Scott, Michael Ciani, who has been struggling, Jordan Walker, who hasn't looked great up until this point, it matters, because those guys have to show that they're capable of doing it. Otherwise, you don't know what you're going to get come opening day.
Kind of like a box of chocolates, Carey.
Never know what you're going to get.
At least chocolates taste good. This team looks terrible.
Oh, Marshy, you don't have to be rude.
Not all chocolates are good.
Most are, Jamie.
What's one chocolate that's not good?
Most are.
No, listen, guys. When you get that box of chocolates at like Christmas or holiday time, whatever, and you don't have the little chart with what the hell they all are,
I do agree.
That's chocolate roulette. And you know what? You bite into some of those, and it's got some of that nasty cream inside it. You're like, what the? So, no, not all of them are great.
Jamie, you strike me as the kind of guy that would rearrange those chocolates just to throw some people off when they opened the box, feeling like they were getting one thing and actually getting another.
Carey, you nailed it. I used to do that to my parents and stuff all the time. Move the chocolates around, or I'd open the box and steal the little menu thing. So nobody had a chance to know. But I knew. I'd go look and find all the good ones and leave all the crap ones.
That's all that matters, as long as you knew. That's Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marshall, Carey Davis. The Blues have found a winning identity. Is that enough, even if they don't make the playoffs? Is the winning identity enough in itself to make you feel better about this retool? We'll talk about it next on the Fast Lane when we return.
If you love sports betting, then you're going to absolutely love Circus Sports Illinois, the app. The owner of Circus Sports, Derek Stevens, created the world's largest sports book in his casino in beautiful Las Vegas. Now he's taking that sports book and putting it right into the palm of your hands. They've got the best odds of any app out there. If you don't believe me, download the other apps, check it out, and you'll see that Circus Sports has the best odds available, which means bigger payouts for you, which is always a good time. They've also got good lines on all their futures bets. They've got tight money line splits. They've got high betting limits as well. It's that old school Vegas feeling, and you've got it right there in the palm of your hand, and you can play daily with Circus Sports Illinois, the app. If I'm looking at something for tonight, just out of curiosity, just for fun, I'm going to go to the NHL, Ottawa-Montreal. It's a big game. Right now, Ottawa is sitting at minus 135 on the money line. I would go with the Ottawa Senators. They're playing great hockey. That would be my play over at Circus Sports Illinois. So please don't miss out on all the action. Download Bet Like a Pro with your Circus Sports Illinois app today and join in on all the excitement. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues look to continue their winning ways tonight as they take on the Nashville Predators in Nashville. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop will be at 7. We'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5:30, so stay tuned for that. Coming up next, we're going to dive into your St. Louis Blues. Is discovering a winning identity a win in itself for the Blues retool if they were to miss the playoffs? We'll discuss that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. Anthony Stalter is out for the week on vacation, and as you just heard Marshy say, the Blues have been winning. They've been finding ways to win. They've been playing extremely hard. They discovered what some may call a winning identity. And Jamie, the question that was posed was, even if they do not make the playoffs, is this winning identity, learning how to win games, learning how to finish games, is that enough to make you feel better about this retool and the direction that they're going?
Well, nobody's going to feel good if they don't make the playoffs. Let's just be real about that. I think this team right now, their expectations are to make the playoffs. And Jim Montgomery this morning echoed that. He literally said, look, the goal for these guys is to make the playoffs. They don't care how they do it or what it looks like. They just want to make the playoffs. So that's the goal. But if they don't, for some reason, if they miss just by the narrowest of margins or whatever happens, yeah, you have to be happy with this. We didn't see a team like this last year. Like, part of this retool, we never saw a version of a team like this last year. I mean, Marsh, you know as good as anybody, like, last year felt like a weird kind of year. They still only ended up missing the playoffs by, I think, 5 or 6 points. But it didn't feel the same way. This team now, especially, I think the emergence of Zach Bolduc, the way he's playing, I think the breakout season for Dylan Holloway as well as Philip Broberg, like, it just feels different this year. It feels like this team has a sense of direction, and it certainly feels like they've discovered the way they have to play to have success in this league.
Jamie, I can't help. I'm laughing because I'm looking at you. I need you to have a skinnier microphone, but you look like Johnny Carson in the 80s sitting on that brown couch. You probably got your leg crossed. You need to have a guest sitting right to the right of you so we can interview them. Is right here. It's killing me right now. You look very comfortable, brother.
This is the setup we've got here. This is a great hotel, and I've got a sectional couch. Like, it wraps around the room here. Like, it's massive. I don't know why the hell they put it in here, but it's beautiful, and it's real leather. I got this nice table, so I'm trying to set myself up for success here.
You look like you're doing well. I just couldn't help it. I'm watching you sit back with the mic in your hand. You look like you're about to interview somebody. So
I wish I did have somebody here. Let's go wake up a player.
Go grab him. Knock on the door. See if we can get him for the next segment. I do think the Blues, you want to win and make the playoffs. I think that's obviously the goal every single year and to hopefully win a championship. But I think what they have done, and it would be frustrating if they didn't make the playoffs, but I'm looking at this team in comparison to last year at this time. I think, Marcia, you had the notes that they are pretty much in the same spot, same number of points away from a playoff spot as they were yesterday on the same date, correct?
And actually, the record that this team has now is actually worse than what they were last season at this same point. So, but last year, like Jamie said, it just, they had a chance, but like, I don't know, did they really have a chance? Now I'm thinking, I even said it yesterday, I'm like, man, if Minnesota keeps losing, and they won yesterday, probably because I said it, but I'm like, hell, the Blues could get that first wild card spot. It's going to be tough, but this year it just feels different, man. And as a fan, you get that feeling like, man, if they just get in, something special could really happen. I really do feel about this team in that way.
So I feel like, yes, I agree with you. I think everything is trending in that direction for the Blues, but I'm not of the mindset that if they didn't make the playoffs, if they fell just short, that this season was a loss, because it does look so much better. You have a lot of hope and a lot of promise for what the next season will look like. You got guys playing well, and then you're going to have some discussions when Snuggerud and Dvorsky are probably here next year on next year's roster. Who's not going to be? You're going to add the level of play. You're going to have some better scorers, some guys that are more skilled, and then you got more competition. So for me, it's almost like the timeline for the Blues and what Army expected for this team to be, it has sped up a little bit, but if they don't make the playoffs, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's a failed season. I don't think you just look at it and scrap it and say, hell, we got to figure it out and start from scratch. I think they're trending in the right direction. Ideally, you do want to make the playoffs because that's what players want, and it does feel better. It does reward you for all your hard effort.
Yeah, I agree. And let's not forget, like, if you're able to make the playoffs, it's great experience for all of your younger players. Holloway and Broberg certainly have a lot of experience. They went right to the Game 7 Stanley Cup Final last year. So that's nice to have that in your back pocket. But you also have to look at things the way you say, Carey. If you don't make it for some reason, you have developed key players this year. Some of your young guys have become part of the foundation now. And when that happens, that's when your team starts turning a corner into what would probably be a good run of being a contending team. And let's not forget that, Dvorsky is sitting on the outside looking in right now. Snuggerud is sitting on the outside looking in. Where do they slot in next year? Do they slot in? One would imagine that one certainly would, but maybe both do. And you add them to Holloway and Bolduc up front and Jake Neighbors up front. Like, when your young guys start to outnumber your veteran players, that's when you know you're headed in the right direction. And I think that the Blues can look in the mirror at the end of this season, if they don't make the playoffs, and say, hey, we developed a really good number of players, and we found our identity under a new head coach, and now we've got 4 more years of this head coach while this team is heading in the right direction.
When do you know that as a player, that when your team is like that dialed in and having fun, like when does that occur?
Yeah, it just does. I mean, it's not like you circle back and go, oh, yeah, I remember, or today's the day we're doing it, guys. We're changing everything today. For me, I think for the Blues this year, it's definitely that 2-week break that they had. I mean, if you circle back, every stat, every record, every player, everything that's happened since that point has been pretty positive for the Blues. The only negative thing that's happened is Colton Parayko's ended up on the sidelines here for a little bit. But he also came out of that whole thing playing fantastic. So you just kind of know it when you're in it. I mean, Carey, you can speak to this too. I mean, football, I'm sure, is very similar, where if you have an offense and you just know, like, they can't stop us.
Yeah.
Like, if we play this way, they can't stop. We're scoring points for sure. We're winning games for sure. You're in the zone. So I imagine it's the same way for you guys.
Well, yeah, you know it both ways. You know when you are playing at an elite level. Like for us in 2008, we knew that if we scored a certain number of points, our defense was going to shut down everything that came their way. We knew you get to about 14, 17 points, you're probably going to win the game, and that's all we needed. 2 touchdowns and a field goal, you're probably walking out of the stadium with a win that day. And then there were some years offensively, you knew, man, we can score pretty much on any drive. We can run the ball on this team whenever we want to. But conversely, you also knew when you couldn't do nothing. You knew when it was really bad for you.
True.
So, I think the Blues have figured it out. They have found their identity. And I think that was one of the most important parts. We talked about that yesterday as well, Marsh, finding their identity. This team has truly found out who they are, how to play, and how to play hard every single night, which is making it fun to watch. That's Jamie.
It's a lot of fun.
The delay.
It's a little bit of a delay. All right. That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. The Blues do play the Nashville Predators tonight. Puck drops at 7 p.m. Pregame will begin at 6 p.m. You can catch that here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we have What's Trending.
It is springtime out there right now. That beautiful weather is out. Time to wash off those vehicles and have a look at your car, your truck, your SUV. What is it that you'd like to do to that vehicle? Well, let me help you. Head over to Pure Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. They are well known for their quality work, and you just see so many of their vehicles driving around the St. Louis area, and you know that it's Pure Performance that did that. They've got a 25,000 square foot facility. It is the largest showroom in the area where you can find anything and everything you might need to enhance your vehicle, whether it's a Jeep, a Bronco, SUV, trucks, any make or model. They've got you covered with accessories for absolutely everything. And not only that, they've got tires and wheels for every vehicle, every size. No matter what, they've got you covered. Probably the largest stock of tires in all of St. Louis. And now they've got tires for your fun stuff, too. They've got tires and wheels for your ATV, your UTV, and your golf cart. And it's a full-service garage, so anything that you need while you're there, or just take your car there to get it fixed. Oil changes, tune-ups, brakes, transmission, you name it, Pure Performance can do it. So underneath the hood, they've got you covered, and outside of your vehicle, they've got you covered with all the modifications as well. So please stop by that showroom, ask for Shelby or Paul, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. If not, that you can't get there, then go to pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
Topics in the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, what is trending today? Well, sometimes your favorite heroes end up turning into bad guys. And unfortunately, for said bad guy, He gets to hear it. Take a listen to this.
I can't believe we've got wrestling on.
Well, that leads me to the question, Jamie. I have
This
a
is
question
what happens
for
when
you.
Anthony's gone.
No. I'm setting this up, okay? I'm setting the question up. John Cena,
right.
that's the sounds of Raw last night. John Cena comes in. Everybody doesn't like him anymore. They say he sucks. He turned heel. The question I have for you is there any athlete that you can think of that had an instant heel turn? Somebody that was beloved and all of a sudden they did something that led to them being heavily critiqued by the masses.
Yeah, for me, it's Chris Chelios. He was born and raised in Chicago. He was a Blackhawk for a long time. They loved him there. Like, he was everything that Chicago stood for. Then he accepted a trade to the Red Wings. And when he came back to Chicago, they booed his ass so hard. Like, I swear people were, breaking blood vessels in their eyeballs, booing as loud as they could. It got so bad the first game back that Scotty Bowman had him leave the bench and go sit in the press box. He's like, this is bad. This is terrible.
For me,
yeah, I have seen it.
I was going to say, I think about when LeBron James joined the Miami Heat. He was beloved when he was in Cleveland, and everyone, thought the world of him. And then he decided to go to Miami, chasing championships, and people hated him. Like, they truly hated the Miami Heat and everything they stood for. I feel the same way about Kevin Durant when he left OKC to go to Golden State. He was no longer a fan favorite. They just hated on him. It was ridiculous. So those two came to mind in terms of basketball. I couldn't think of anybody in football because normally you're not really a villain because they just cut you and get you the hell away.
We're not talking about people that may have done some stuff. We're talking about within the sport.
I was talking about I mean, Tiger Woods might be someone that was beloved and became hated for a while when he went through his incident. Not golf related, but some people disliked him.
Another player, Jamie, and you probably heard this over the weekend, but Jack Eichel in Buffalo, they do not like that guy at all. They were booing him the entire time he was in that shootout, and then he ends up hitting the post. But that's another guy that comes to mind. Instant heel turn for a certain city, for sure.
Yeah, and I'd go back to it if we're going to talk about baseball, like Roger Clemens. He was a Boston Red Sox for quite a while, and then he went to the Yankees, and then Boston absolutely hated Roger Clemens after that. So, I think it's when a player goes to a rival team that people lose their ever-loving minds for the most part.
I agree. Yeah.
So, Jamie, we talked about the Selection Sunday yesterday. Are you filling out your bracket? Have you looked at it yet? What are your thoughts on Mizzou taking on Drake, Illinois taking on either Texas or Xavier? Have you looked at the bracket yet, and have you filled one out?
I haven't filled one out, I can tell you that. But I've looked at it in passing. As you guys know, I'm a huge basketball fan. But Mizzou playing Drake, I find it unfortunate that Drake has to play all by himself against the entire team. But that should be interesting either way. Look, I will fill one out. I had, just with the travel yesterday and today with little hotel living, I haven't had a chance to print one out yet, but I will tomorrow. We'll get to the office. We'll print one out. We'll fill it out. We'll have some fun with it.
Jamie, I'll give you some advice. Illinois to the Final Four. There you go.
Yeah, that's probably not ever going to be on my sheet.
What? Shame on you.
I have seen them play this year, Carey.
Yeah.
That's one team I have seen play.
And they looked good, didn't they?
Probably, no, they didn't look terrible, actually, in that game.
Might have been during that stretch where they were struggling a little bit.
Yeah, there was a struggle bus game, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Guys, Major League Baseball, the regular season is underway. Your St. Louis Cardinals are currently tied for first in the NL Central.
I don't think it counts.
No, it does. The Chicago Cubs are 0-1 right now. They're a half game back of the Reds, Brewers, Pirates, and Cardinals. So the Cards are tied for first place. The Dodgers defeated the Cubs, and they'll play each other once again. Do you guys find this weird that they've already and they've done this before?
Yeah.
But don't you find that weird that they've already started the regular season? I know it's overseas, and the NHL has done this too, but I just find that odd. Like, why?
Well, I mean, it is. I think the hard part is the game was played at what time here? 5 a.m. Like, I didn't catch it. I didn't see it. I was unable to wake up. You know, it's kind of.
I was going to bed. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm just kidding. That's way too late. Hey, who do you think was up later last night, Jamie or myself?
In Nashville? I'm going Jamie.
Marcy, what time did you go to bed at?
Probably around. I probably fully fell asleep around like 2-ish.
I think you got me.
Bye.
I don't remember, but I think you did.
You.
Wonderful.
You, Jamie. But no, seriously, like, this is weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I think like football has done, most sports are trying to brand their sport in other countries. And for baseball, obviously, it's an easy transition going to Japan, and you got one of the greatest players of all time in Shohei Ohtani being featured there. I think that's the goal and the mindset of all of these leagues wanting to expand their brand. Baseball should probably try to expand their brand here in the States to make sure that the national pastime is actually loved and looked at. But if you get a chance to go do it, you do it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, every sport is trying to do it. I mean, football's going over to London and Brazil and all these places. Hockey's Sweden and Finland and different places. Heck, hockey went to Australia 2 seasons ago to start to open up the season or play some preseason games. But it is what it is. I mean, it's not going to affect the season at all. So I'm fine with it.
Last thing here, Carey, Cameron Hayward of your Pittsburgh Steelers. Not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. He said on his Not Just Football podcast, I ain't doing that darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap. Either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. It's that simple. That's the pitch. If you want me to recruit, that's a recruiting pitch. Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to be a part of it, so be it. If you don't, no skin off my back.
And that's why that is the greatest franchise in all of sports.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. Not without a quarterback, but.
Well, we got to figure that out. But.
Not going anywhere, guys.
Watch it. Hold on, stop it. I think that what Cam Hayward is saying is spot on. Like, this is the mindset. If you decide to come to Pittsburgh, it's not about you, man. And so, I think Anthony was asking me that last week. If Aaron Rodgers were to end up in black and gold, what is the expectation? The expectation is you get in line, you do your job, and you go home and mind your damn business. Nobody cares about darkness retreats. No one cares about ayahuasca. No one cares about your podcast with Pat McAfee and being on. No, nobody cares. You show up, you do your job, and you win, then they love you. If you don't, nobody cares. So I think Cam is spot on. Hey, man, do you want to be here? That's the pitch. This is damn Pittsburgh. It ain't nowhere else. It ain't Miami. It ain't New England. It's Pittsburgh. It's football, and this is what we do. Either you're here, either you're in, or you're out. And if you're out, wish you the best of luck. That's Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up, the Cardinals have seemingly picked the lane. He's at the right one. We'll talk about it next on the Fast Lane.
if you're in the market for a brand new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle, please check out my best friend, Johnny Londoff, over at Londoff Chevrolet. They do an incredible job of making sure that the customer comes first. They've got 2 amazing locations now. The original one in Florissant, Missouri. We all know where that is. And some people, it's a little too far. Oh, don't worry about it. They got another location now, the Londoff Autoplex in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. Jim Sappho and his crew do an unbelievable job out there as well. Both locations just filled with brand new inventory and pre-owned inventory. And if you're trading your vehicle in, whether it's towards a pre-owned vehicle or a brand new vehicle, Johnny Londoff Chevrolet is going to give you the most cash for your trade-in, not rebates and coupons and other things built into it. No, they give you the most cash for your vehicle. And that is the Londoff guarantee. And trust me, after being a customer for over 25 years, I know what it's like to have great customer service over at Londoff Chevrolet, and you deserve all of that. So please visit either location. When you walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. And please, if you can't get there in person, at least visit them online at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Flying down to Florida for a spring training report on 101 ESPN. Our Redbird Spring Training Report is brought to you by Rawlings. Visit the all-new Rawlings experience at Westport Plaza today.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers, who's out in Nashville. And the Cardinals seemingly have picked the lane. They don't seem to be able to field a team that can both hit and field, so they pick one or the other. And Katie Woo had more on the Cardinals going with a more offensive approach this season.
Well, unfortunately, the defense from Herrera has not looked all that much better than last year. And, that's just unfortunate because this is a guy who works incredibly hard. I see it every day, and it's just not working for him yet. The good news for Herrera is that I think the Cardinals are going to be leaning towards a much more offensive-focused approach, which means Herrera's bat, which has looked great this spring, one of the few bats it has, will be in the lineup. And the toss-up is, and this is why I think they could platoon it, just depending on opposing pitcher and the lineup construction of that day, is Pedro is a slightly better defensive catcher, game preps really well, but the bat isn't there for Pedro like it is for Herrera. Given the Cardinals' offensive struggles last year and how it more or less derailed their season, I think you're going to see a strict emphasis on offense. That goes back to Newbar being in center field as well. But the defensive worries for Herrera are still there. I don't think he's thrown out a runner all spring, and teams were running all over St. Louis last year, something that hasn't happened in 15 years. And that's going to be a concern for the Cardinals. But the priority for them right now is hitting, it's offense, and Herrera's bat allows you to do that.
That was Katie Woo with BK and Ferrario yesterday. And so, Jamie, I want to ask your opinion. We've talked about Michael Ciani probably being on the roster and Victor Scott not, probably having Lars Newbar playing center field and moving Donnie to left and Gorman to second base. And you just heard Katie talking about Herrera being your catcher who struggled there mightily, hadn't thrown anyone out yet. When I talk to Anthony and when we talk about baseball, he often talks about defense up the middle. So your catcher, your shortstop, second baseman, and center fielder. The only one out of that group that you are probably confident in playing great defense up the middle will be Mason Wynn. And the other three, not that they're liabilities, but they're just not as good as the other people that are potentially there for that position. It feels like if they are going this offensive mindset, you know that the pitching during spring training has struggled. Last year, the pitching struggled. Wouldn't it make more sense to have better defense up the middle with guys that you know there's going to be a lot of contact coming from those pitchers?
Yeah, it all sounds really backwards to me. I'll just be completely honest. They're going to take a more offensive approach. Okay, with who? I know that Katie Woo isolated Herrera in that little bit of clip of audio that we just listened to, but who else is not going to cover off the ball? Lukenbaker is hitting the ball well, but we know he's just going to be a bat off the bench. I mean, where do you put him in on a daily basis? I guess maybe you could slide him in a DH from time to time, but it's not like the Cardinals have a whole bunch of big boppers that they can just forego playing solid team defense. It just doesn't make any sense. I would have Ciani or Scott in center field, Mason Wynn, shortstop, Gorman. I mean, he's fine at second. Do I think Donnie's better defensively? Probably, but I think Gorman's fine defensively. And then Herrera, he just can't play catcher. He's not a catcher. If you've ever seen a player before that profiles to be something other than the current position they're playing, it's Herrera. I would have Herrera at first base right now. Have Contreras back behind the plate, sharing the duties with Pages, and then the days where Pages plays, you can also DH with Contreras. So I don't know. I think the Cardinals have it completely backwards.
I think the frustrating part for me is if you're going with a more offensive approach, I mean, I would hope that the offensive players are Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts.
Exactly.
If you're if you're telling me, we're going to choose offense over defense, and those are the guys that are going to be at the plate, sign me up, right? I'm okay with that. But if you're telling me that, we got Nolan Gorman, who we don't know what he is yet. Jordan Walker has still not hit the level that they need him to hit at yet. You got Mason Wynn, who has struggled this spring training as well. You got a lot of guys. You're going offensive mindset, but you don't have the offensive horses to really provide that oomph that you need if you're choosing offense over defense, in my opinion. And I think that's the most frustrating part.
Well, I think you're totally screwed up right now if you're the Cardinals, because you don't have if you go with the lineup that you're talking about, you don't have enough defensively to be good defensively. then you also don't have enough offensively to be dominant offensively. So, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to try and be this, offensive team, to your point, Carey, you don't have a lot. You got a couple of guys. You're hoping and praying that Nolan Arenado rediscovers some of his pop, and that's to be determined. But Baker's not going to be in your lineup every day. Herrera probably not in your lineup every day. Contreras, who knows? Burleson might play first at times too. It doesn't make any sense at all. And when you have a team that's a middling team that doesn't make sense to, where you don't have enough offensive power, the proper strategy is to lock it down defensively with good pitching and good defense in the field. And that doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, so it's really weird.
John Scores in the Snake Pit says, Dodgers reference, shocker. I was going to go with the Yankees, but they got rid of Juan Soto. They let him go. So, I went with the team that won the World Series.
I'm disgusting.
I'm sorry,
John's right.
John. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you don't like the team that won the World Series and they're the best team ever created.
They bought it.
Well, hey, you bought it and you won, so it seems to have worked out pretty damn well, huh?
So this season, we got a text earlier that said when we were talking about the Blues, that the Blues in this season have rediscovered or found their next core, which I agree with. Do you think the Cardinals will find those answers this season? Will they find what their new core is? Or do we already know what it is and they're just maybe not there yet?
I mean, potentially. You could have the names that I just gave you. Nolan Gorman could be the guy that you need him to be. Jordan Walker could be the guy that you need him to be. Mason Wynn has shown last year, not so much in spring training, that he could be the guy. And that's part of that core, that younger group, similar to Broberg and Holloway and Bolduc, your guys that maybe you didn't have high expectations for, you didn't know what to expect, but they show up and they play and they're an integral part of this team. So I think you can have that, but it all goes back to the players, right? It's not about the coach's job, the manager's job is to get you prepared for that moment. The GM and the front office and ownership is to get you on the team, and they know they trust you that you're going to do the job. But at the end of the day, the players have to do the job. Army could have signed offer sheets for Holloway and Broberg, and they came here and stunk, right? And it's not his fault. It's not his fault because he's basing it off of what he thinks that they can be. Fortunately for him, they showed up and they have showed out. So it's on the players, it's on those guys to show, at Nolan Gorman, I can be good defensively up the middle, and I'm not going to strike out a ton at the plate. Lars Nootbaar, I'm going to play center field, and I can be maybe not as good as Michael Ciani or Victor Scott, but I can be good enough to where you don't see a drop-off in our play. Herrera, I don't know what to tell you. And that's no disrespect to him as a player, but watching him behind the plate, it should be troubling to Cardinal fans. Because the throws they're not good enough, and it's not strong enough. And if you're unable to throw runners out, you're going to have a long day on the bases for the opposing team, and it just is what it is. And if you're okay with that, then say you're okay with it. We're okay with him struggling because he's going to provide something at the plate, but we know he's not going to throw runners out, and we'll deal with it.
Yeah, I think the difference right now between the Blues and the Cardinals is I think the Cardinals have roughly about the same number of players. That we regret ever thinking that he couldn't be dominant in baseball. I hope that happens, but he hasn't been that guy. He couldn't be dominant in baseball. I hope that happens, but he hasn't been that guy. Nolan Gorman hasn't been that guy. Herrera has not been that guy. The only guy that's really kind of asserted themselves as a player is Mason Wynn.
Yeah.
I mean, Lars Nootbaar, too hurt, too often. Brendan Donovan, a little bit too old, but he's a utility guy. Does that make sense? The guys that they've got now, they're not the difference makers. The Blues young guys will be and are currently difference makers.
I agree. I think you have, and that's why I said it comes back to the players. They have to perform at a level that, warrants them getting those opportunities continuously. If you're not performing at a high enough level, then Jamie, somebody eventually is going to take your job, and you're going to lose your opportunities. You're going to lose your spot. But I don't even know if the Cardinals have or are willing to give other people those options, those opportunities, right? Because who are you going to put in? Who are you going to move around? Who are you going to replace if Nolan Gorman is struggling at second base? Are you going, because now you're saying, okay, he's out. I'll put Donnie there, and I'll put Lars in left field, and now we got Ciani or Scott there. Well, if that's the case, you could have done that from the jump. So I don't know what the solution is for them. I don't know how they go about it, but hopefully it works out because defensively, I think it's going to be difficult for this team to win games. Yep. Okay. The delay is killing me.
Shout out to the delay.
Shout out to the delay.
Delay of game.
Jamie,
I thought you were rolling it right into the break, baby. Sorry.
You were shaking your head. I thought you had something for me, but
The delayed offside.
Those penalties are great. That's Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marshall, I'm Carey Davis. Coming up, Marshy said something a couple of weeks ago, and it stuck with me, man. At the time that he said it, 155, he mentioned the Blues in 2019, and we all know how great of a year that was. So, Jamie, we're going to talk about the similarities and differences from 2019 to this team this year when we return on the Fast Lane. Hey, it's Carey Davis, and if you need new windows, then you need to look no further than Window Nation. New windows not only make your home look and feel better, they also keep that cold weather out in the winter, that hot weather out in the summer. And right now, Window Nation has affordable, high-quality, energy-efficient windows that will keep those utility bills at a minimum and keep your home comfortable all year round. And they're affordable. How affordable? Right now, you can get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy, plus 0 down or payments or no interest for 2 full years. You can get new windows installed in 1 day or less and not pay anything until 2027. Hurry, the offer ends soon, so don't miss out on your chance to get this. All you need to do is reach out to them at 866-90Nation or go online at windownation.com. Window Nation is a company that all they do is windows. They're experts. Last year alone, they installed over 200,000 windows, which is 40 times more than the average window company. 96% of those windows requiring no follow-up service. So get your free, no obligation quote today at 866-90Nation or online at windownation.com. Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. Your time check is 3:19. Time is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And Jamie, before we went to break, we were talking about the similarities between this team for the St. Louis Blues and the 2019 team. Jamie, can you remind me what the 2019 team did? My memory, I took a lot of hits. I can't quite remember what they did. I don't know why Marshy brought this question up.
Yeah, they won the whole Fast Lane thing.
Oh, yeah, they did. And Marshy thinks they have a chance to do the same thing. You've seen, Jamie, you weren't here yesterday. He was singing songs. He was singing the songs. He was all in. He's all in on this St. Louis Blues team.
What songs was he singing, Carey?
The Blues go marching in.
Yeah, we were prepping yesterday. We were prepping yesterday in the studio, and I'm just sitting there at my, my desk at the computer.
Yeah.
And, Carey and BK were in there, and all of a sudden you just hear me kind of in my, in my corner, in the zone. I'm just like, hey. I was going. It was going for a long time.
He was going. So, the similarities and the differences of this team versus that 2019 team that, again, won the whole damn thing, Marshy.
Yeah, I mean, the similarities here, Jamie, are that, they're going on a run, right? They're getting hot at the right time. Now, the players are a little bit different, but I told you earlier today, the feeling, I'm getting that feeling
Marshy's
right now.
a feeling guy.
I'm a feeling guy. When they went on that 11-game win streak, I was like, okay, here, like maybe we got something here, but it's a feeling. I'm not saying it's the same team. I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup, even though I did at 155 on that faithful day. But
this team doesn't have a song, Marshy.
They don't have a song, and then maybe that's one of the differences. I think there's some other differences too, though.
What do you think, Jamie?
Wow. Boy, you guys sure think of a lot of things when I'm not there. That's for sure. Yeah, look, that team in 2019 had more star power than this team does currently, but that doesn't mean everything. It doesn't. You still have the same goaltender that you had in 2019 for that glorious cup run that you went on. But look, this team has only put together, one 3-game winning streak, I believe. And that team there put together an 11-game heater at one point. So if the current team puts together a 6 or 7-game heater here again, I'll start thinking about it. But Marshy, to your point, in your defense, there are a lot of similarities as to how they're playing.
Right.
Because that 2019 team, although they had, Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and players like that, it was a very blue-collar team. That's how they won the Stanley Cup, is playing blue-collar hockey. I mean, the fourth line had 2 guys that got suspended in the playoffs. You had Pat Maroon that nobody could move in front of the net or along the walls. You had Sammy Blais putting Erik Karlsson on a stretcher, basically, for the rest of the series. You had San Jose Sharks who couldn't even field a team in Game 6 here in St. Louis. So that, finishing your hits, shot-blocking mentality, that is very evident again with this group.
Do they do it at the same level, though, as that team in 2019? Can they get to that level?
Well, if you're watching the games here recently, the blocking of shots is there. This team is sacrificing to win right now. Are they as big and as heavy as they were in 2019? No, they're not. I mean, just look at the blue line alone. You had Pedro, Gunnarsson, Edmondson, Bortuzzo, Parayko, Bouwmeester. These were all big dudes. You got some big guys on the blue line now, but not to that size. You don't have a Pat Maroon up front as well, but you do have a Toropchenko, who is a big, strong guy. He gets around the ice pretty damn good. Radek Faksa is a big guy. He's a pain in that butt to play against. Nathan Walker's not big, but he's a real pain in the butt to play against out there. Leads the team in hits this year. Had 8 hits, I think, the last game all by himself. So you do have similarities in the styles of play. But, it's always going to be the question. That team in 2019 will always be the measuring stick for whatever team the Blues put on the ice for the rest of time until they win another cup. that will be the measuring stick. Well, do you have the guys that you had then? Are you playing the same way? Do you have the same goaltending? The good news for the Blues is they do have some carryovers, not as many as years past, but some carryovers from that 2019 team. And they've got great leadership. You know, I thought the Blues had great leadership that year with Steen and Pedro and O'Reilly and those guys. And I think you're getting some of that great leadership again with Schenn, Fowler, Falk, Parayko. All these guys are helping this team, in the right direction.
Is this the recipe to win a Stanley Cup playing this style of hockey if you don't have the superstars? Because we've talked about, the Blues are missing a superstar. They need a superstar. There's a lot of teams out there that have multiple superstars, and they've won Stanley Cups. But in order to win a Stanley Cup without a team full of superstars and just really good players, is this the recipe that you need?
Yeah, it is. Let's just go back and look at winners in the past year. Let's start in Washington. Yeah, you had Alex Ovechkin. You had some talented players, but you had a big team that played physical. You go to the St. Louis Blues. That was a big physical team. In the trenches, it paid off in the playoffs. The Vegas Golden Knights, they had Jack Eichel as their best player that year, and I think he had 60 points or something, maybe 70 maximum. But they were a big, heavy team, huge defensive core as well. And all these teams, by the way, good goaltending to carry them across the goal line. Tampa Bay, probably the most talented team, man for man, but they didn't win it until they added some grit. They didn't win it until they added guys like McDonough on the blue line and Zach Bogosian, Luke Schenn. They got gritty in the trenches, and that's the formula for winning. Look at Florida last year. Tons of talent, such star power. But what do we know about the Florida Panthers? They'll drag it out into the alley and turn it into a street fight if they have to. And that's what helped them win the Cup last year. So I think that the Blues have a lot of the correct ingredients, and I think more so the correct way of thinking when it comes to being a playoff team or a contending team of any kind.
I think they're playing extremely well. Do you think that in order to take that next step, you talk about playing a heavier game, and you talked about the blue line and the guys that the 2019 team had. Do you think that is one of the things that this team will need to add, here in the next couple of years in order to take that next step from, being a playoff contender to actually being a Stanley Cup contender?
Yeah, so it's going to be weird for the Blues here in the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years, because currently, when Colton Parayko is healthy, you have by far the most experienced blue line in the NHL. And that blue line has been playing well. And let me run this past you guys. What's one thing, Carey and Marshy, that you have not heard talked about in the last couple of games? What's one thing in particular that everybody should be talking about, but they're not talking about?
Colton Parayko not playing.
There you go.
Yep.
And why is that?
Because the guys have been stepping up and doing their job, so you're not concerned about. You're concerned, but you're not. It's not glaring that you're missing him that much.
Yeah, and let's be honest, you are missing him, right? You're so much better with that guy in your lineup. Any team in the league is better with that guy in their lineup. That's not my point. My point is that Army was able to build a blue line that could withstand this kind of pressure and these types of games without their best defenseman. And so in the next couple of years, you will lose Suter. You will lose Leddy. You will lose Falk. And I'm not saying that you're going to trade them or get rid of them. Contracts are expiring in the next 2 to 3 years for all of these guys. So you might be in a more of a rebuild-ish situation on your blue line. Of course, Broberg will continue to get better. Who knows if you re-sign Fowler or not, too. He's another guy that only has one more year following this year. And Lindstein and all these guys that are coming up through the pipeline. But that's going to be the biggest project for Army is never mind trying to add and get bigger and stronger. It's trying to keep and maintain what you currently have built here on your blue line.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. Coming up next, we have Bet the Board. Everybody hit but me. Jamie, your pick hit too. Amazing. You just keep rolling those things through. It's amazing how that works. You hit all the time when you are on the road. It is amazing how you...
when I'm on the road, Carey.
Yeah, you're locked in all the time. Bet the Board is next. Hey, it's Carey Davis, and fellas, you have heard me talk about Blue Chew time and time again, how it has helped enhance your performance in the bedroom and help men gain extra confidence when it's time to perform. Well, if you're ready for a great offer, how about free? You can go to bluechew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code WXOS at checkout, and you pay just $5 for shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code WXOS. Receive your first month free, and then you will be ready to chew it and do it. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so there are no awkward visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package, and it doesn't take long. The Blue Chews tablets are made in the USA, and they prepare and ship direct, so it is cheaper than a pharmacy. And listen, fellas, your partner, they want you to do whatever it takes to make your sex life better. Blue Chew is your secret weapon. Shh. It's your secret weapon to get it on in the bedroom or wherever you decide to get it on. Turn oh no into oh yes. If you're getting ready for work, you probably have some coffee. Dinner with your in-laws, maybe something a little stronger. But when it's time to get hot and heavy in the bedroom, the only thing you need is BlueChew.com. BlueChew.com. Again, WXOS at the checkout. That's our promo code. You'll pay $5 in shipping, and you will be ready to chew it and do it.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues take on the Nashville Predators tonight, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5:30, so stay tuned for that interview. If you have missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Jamie Rivers had BK choose for him yesterday and bet the board. He went with a William Nylander anytime goal plus odds. And, of course, it hit. We're going to bet the board next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this SportsCenter update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane, joined by Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers, who is in Nashville. I'm Carey Davis, and it is time for Bet the Board. And I took an L last night. Didn't expect it. You guys all hit again. I think I'm in last place now. But I'm fighting, fellas. I'm fighting hard. Jamie, your out-of-town picks have been stellar this year. We should probably get a record of what your actual record is when you're on the road, because I don't think you've lost yet. And it's amazing how that happens. It truly is amazing how that works.
What are the standings anyways, Marshy?
All right, so the standings, I am tied with Anthony with 7 points this month. Jamie, you are a little bit behind with 5, and Carey has 4.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit frustrating.
What's Anthony's pick? Did he send it?
He did send the pick. Carey, if you want to read that off, you
let
can.
me see. I forgot what he said. Did he hit last night?
He did the over. The over definitely hit.
Oh, God. Yeah, of course he did. He's pretty amazing, too. You know, you guys are just outstanding when it's time to be out of town. He chose the Blues Preds over 5.5.
Oh.
Blues Preds over 5.5. I am going to go with Justin Falk, 2+ shots on goal tonight at plus 100.
Wow. It's a good call.
Yeah.
I like that one. All right, I'm going to stick in the NHL. This guy has been snake bitten a little bit on the power play recently, but playing Utah tonight in Edmonton, I think Connor McDavid gets a power play point. So I'm taking the over at plus 140.
Hoping for a lot of goal suppression tonight. Give me Shohei Ohtani tonight, or today, or tomorrow. I don't know when the hell they play.
I think they play tomorrow.
It already happened.
Oh, no. Is it tomorrow? No, it's the 18th. It's today. Tonight. Tomorrow. It'll be played before we get in here, I think. I hope.
Oh, that's a great point.
What time
Well,
do they
this is a
play?
new rule now. What's going on here?
So they play Wednesday at 6:11 a.m. Eastern time, so 5 a.m. here. So by the time the game,
This is like the Bob rule all over
the
again.
game will be played before we get on air. We're not on at 7 a.m. The game will be finished. We're on at 2 to 6. We will know the stats and we will know the score.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you guys like it.
I don't feel good about
I don't
this.
give a damn.
I'm not going to lie, I don't really like it either.
I don't like it. I'm going to give it to you.
All right, thank you. Give me Shohei Ohtani, who is, I lost it. Oh, here it is. 2+ total bases minus 130.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just,
Shady.
we haven't dealt with this before.
It's part of the rules. The game has to be played before our next show begins, which is why on Friday, we can choose a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday game. As long as the game is completed before we get back on air the following day, then we're good.
We'll let you have it, Carey. But,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It will be under protest.
I'm dead last. What the hell are y'all protesting?
No, it's under protest. We'll see.
I don't like that.
All right.
You got an issue too there, buddy?
It feels icky, but but it's something we haven't dealt with yet.
Don't get mad. Well, Jamie found a loophole earlier last year. He found the 0.5 total bases with Nolan Gorman. A 0.5
loophole. It's a good bet.
It's a terrible bet. It started out good, then it went to bleed real
Different
quick.
than your crap that you pick all the time.
Yeah,
Well,
you got an issue with my picks.
At least that game was played day of.
Grant Francis fan club. Here, I 100% agree with CD. How is this even a discussion?
Okay.
How is it a discussion?
Well,
the
it's something
game,
Because it's the way you presented it.
It hasn't happened yet.
neither
It
has
feels
your
yucky.
game. It hasn't
Well,
happened
no,
yet.
I'm saying like this situation hasn't
mean-
presented itself yet. So I thought that maybe we'd have a discussion about it.
What if a baseball game it starts at 9 p.m. and it doesn't end till 4 a.m.? I mean, it's
But it was
possible.
started day
I'm
of.
just
It's a long
saying.
baseball game.
It is. It could go in extra innings.
That is a long baseball.
Yeah. Well, the game doesn't
Man,
start.
if you can't get the ghost runner in that amount of time,
you got a problem.
you got a
in
huge
one.
problem. Huge problem.
Just giving you some numbers here. It's possible. You guys are hating on my
Like I
picks.
said, Carey, we'll let it slide, but it is under protest.
The 660 says if there isn't a rule, it's not against the rules. Again, couldn't agree more.
That doesn't
okay.
make it right, though.
Nah, it doesn't make it wrong.
Doesn't make it right.
We got a question from the 636 for Jamie. Anything Blues fans need to know before entering Bridgestone Arena with kids with Blues jerseys on? LOL. Their spring break.
Oh, wow. I think Nashville is a rowdy place. Like, the fans are crazy. They are awesome fans. Although I don't recall seeing, like, belligerent people towards Blues fans or even fisticuffs of any kind. That doesn't mean they're not happening. I just haven't seen them. And the Blues are always really well represented here in Nashville. Like, there will be plenty of Blues jerseys out there in the sea of Preds jerseys. So I think everything's just fine, especially if the kids are there on spring break. Most people, hopefully they've got enough sense to them not to bother kids that are at a game just because they're wearing a Blues jersey.
I went to a Blues Predators game a few years ago. Being at that arena, it was weird. Like, it just, I don't know what it was. Like, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but it was just weird. It didn't feel like a Blues game, obviously. Like, it was different in-game presentation. But, like, the arena itself, when you walk in, like, the inside of it doesn't really remind me of, like, an NHL arena. You get that vibe, Jamie?
I don't know. I've only walked through, like, the concourse like maybe once or twice. So it's tough for me. I've always been either on the ice or, when we arrive with the team bus and whatnot, we're underneath the rink and we work our way up to the press box. And so all I really see is the rink and the locker room areas. So I don't know. Maybe I'll walk around more the next time we're here.
Jim, I just thought about something. For you, how different is it? Because when I call games for Illinois, I'm obviously in the press box every single time. How different is it for you being on the road and at home, being between the benches versus being upstairs? And how different is the game when you're watching it?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And I've had lots of people ask me, what do you like better? And like, both. I actually like the sharing of it. When you're up in the press box, you see things developing earlier because you can see all of the players are in one frame, we'll call it, and you can see it from a distance, and you're able to kind of forecast how things are going to go. But when you're down between the benches, you feel the energy of the game. You see when guys are happy, angry. Like, I almost know every single time there's going to be a fight. Like, I'll get on the little talkback button, tell our producer, get a camera on so-and-so, because it's about to go down. Because you can feel it, because you're close right there, and the emotions of the game and the speed of the game. So it's two different ways for me to call the game. Most of the time when I'm up in the press box on a road game, there's a lot more technical talking about positioning and things like that, or maybe how plays are developing. When I'm down low, it's a lot more about the physicality, the shot blocking, and the speed and the transition, because that's where I am. I'm right ice level, so I'm getting a good feel for all those things. But it's fun, man. I mean, the only adjustment last year that we had to really kind of make was, I had never done a game where I was between the benches before. And so you've got to get into a rhythm with your partner, because you're not sitting next to each other to even do any kind of hand gestures or whatever to like, hey, I'm going to talk now, or, oh, hey, I got something. And I'll never forget the first time I did that. We're on the road, and John Kelly went to a break, and JK is so awesome. He's like, he's very serious. He goes, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, what? I thought he was mad that I'm like interrupting him, I'm like, what? He goes, don't do the hand gestures. I'm like, okay, why? He goes, because when you're down between the benches, what are you going to do then? He's like, we got to get used to being able to call this game from the field, the cadence, like knowing each other's pauses and things like that. He goes, if we don't do that, like we're screwed.
Yeah.
And he was 100% right, and that helped me a ton. So it's fun. I like both advantages.
That's Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up, we have, in honor of the 70s line, we should get Jamie 70-plus keys to the game and light the lamp. That's next on the Fast Lane.
Jamie Rivers back with you here, joined by my good friend Stuart from Stuart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, there's always a lot of movement in the real estate world, but what can you tell us about investment properties?
You know what, Jamie? This is a funny story. About a month ago, I get a call from a 23-year-old kid, and he says, look, I got some money. I don't have any income. I have good credit. I want to get into the investment property business. But I'm right now self-employed, and I'm not showing any income. I'm not making any money. Can I do something like this? We have the answer for you. It's called a debt service loan. That means that we can give you a mortgage on your house, whether it's a cash-out refinance or whether you're buying a home, 20% down, and it's solely based on what the rent's going to be on that house. We don't care about your income. You can even close a transaction in an LLC instead of individually. It's a great product to go ahead and build some wealth, get some rental income going, and you don't have to worry about what you're making or what your situation is. You can still get the mortgage and start building that wealth.
The key there is that the young man called Stewie, and that's what you have to do. Give him a call because it's going to help you with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and if he doesn't have the answer right away, guess what? He's going to find somebody who does, or if there isn't a current program that helps you, Stewie will find a way to build your own custom program to get you what you need. And all you have to do is give him a call or shoot him a text at 314-324-4440. Again, that number is 314-324-4440. Or you can always Google the Bagel Loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a great day.
NMLS number 226715.
back to the Fast Lane. Bracket Madness Pick'em Challenge is available. The bracket is set. Get signed up now to play in this year's Bracket Madness Pick'em Challenge at 101ESPN.com. It's free to enter, and this year's top scorer will take home a $250 Amazon gift card and a 101 prize pack. See the contest rules and sign up to play now at 101ESPN.com. It is time for Jamie's keys to the game. I don't know how many you won. You look like you scoffed at 70. So how many keys we got today, Jamie?
Well, hopefully this team, the way they're playing, know what the heck they have to do game in and game out. That lightens the load for me a little bit with the keys to the game, because I know the players do listen daily, and when they miss that, they certainly go back and listen to the podcast, of course.
Indeed.
But anyways, so tonight I think, physical. Get physical early. This Nashville barn is loud. The players come out here. They're 5 games above 500 on home ice, so they're playing well here at Bridgestone Arena. Get physical early. Finish all of your hits like you did the first game against the LA Kings. I mean, that was physical, and it was awesome. So I say the same thing here to start this game. UC Saros is not a big goalie, so you got to get the pucks up high on UC Saros, get traffic in front of him too. It's harder for a smaller goalie to look around all that traffic in front. He does kick out some ugly rebounds, so make him pay with that. Stay out of the penalty box here. I know Nashville hasn't had a great season, but you still don't want to give guys like O'Reilly, Forsberg, or Stamkos an extra shot at putting one into the back of the net on a man advantage. And you got to continue to play tight defensively. Don't give up the blue line. Take away the middle of the ice and protect the net front for your goaltender. Joel Hofer going tonight, so you want to give him a little extra protection. Those would be my top keys to the game.
All right, you heard Jamie. Now it's time to light the lamp.
But a couple of guys can really shoot the puck.
Shoot! I must confess you scored first.
Well, who was the first person?
Breakaway! Shoots! Score! We got hockey to learn.
All right, gentlemen. Carey Davis keeps on scoring, or at least picking the right people to score. Zach Bolduc.
I keep scoring.
You do keep scoring, Carey. You do a great job at putting the puck in the back of the net. But Zach Bolduc gets Carey on the board once again. You just picked up 3 more points. You have 20 points.
Yeah.
20 points. I have 15. Jamie also picked up points in our last game, and that was because of Dylan Holloway. So you picked up 2 points. You have 11 now, Jamie, and Anthony Stalter is at 10.
So it's on me again, I guess. I'm going to go with this young man. He's been getting top-line minutes, Jamie. He's looking more comfortable, and he's a shooter, man. You know, you like this guy, Jamie. You love this guy. Run it back. Give me Zach Bolduc. Wow. Yeah.
I do like him.
Let's see here. Give me a Cam Fowler goal tonight.
Wow. Ooh, that's a three-pointer,
Shot
isn't it?
from the point.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd say that'd be a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stick with my guy, Dylan Holloway. He's in that spot on the power play. He's just foaming at the mouth to keep shooting that one-timer. I think he's got another one in him tonight, so Dylan Holloway, please.
And Anthony did send me a message. He likes the scrappiness of this player. This guy is in the mix all the time. Not the biggest on the roster, but with the one with the biggest heart. He's going Nathan Walker.
Old Nathan Walker.
Yeah. That's what he said. That's a hell of a pick.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go with Jordan Kyrou like he typically does, but
he's thinking outside the box. He's so far behind at this point.
Yeah.
3 points to, catch him up quicker. Now, Jordan can score 3 goals and get 3 points, but
he could pick Hofer. Hofer's worth 10.
He could. He could have. He didn't, but he could have. Yeah. Jamie, you getting ready to get out of here. You get off that couch, Johnny Carson, and get ready to go do that hockey.
Who's the first guest, Jamie?
I don't know. I feel like next week when I'm back here, I'm going to line up a guest. I think it would actually be hilarious.
I think you should.
On the practice day when we're here, I'm going to line up a player to come and sit next to me on the couch and do this.
I'm gonna order one of those small microphones, those skinny ones that you can hook up and see if that works, because I think that gives you the vibe of being a host. You're sitting on the couch, you get you a guest in there with us, and it'll be fun.
I like it.
You know what you should do, Jamie? You should go down Broadway and interview people. I always see videos of people being down there and they're being interviewed. You could be, one of the next people to end up making someone else famous.
Yeah, but take me off the couch then. No. This couch is great.
You enjoying that couch. Don't enjoy it too much. Jamie, get out of here. We appreciate having you on. You'll be here tomorrow in studio, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'd love to see your face. Good to see you. Have a great game. Have a great call tonight. You can catch Jamie. The puck will drop versus the Blues versus Predators tonight at 7 p.m. Pre-game starts at 6 p.m., which you can catch here on 101 ESPN. Alex Ferrario will be jumping in with us here shortly, and we have the Gauntlet. We got a returning Gauntlet contestant. Jamie, I took an L yesterday. Got my butt kicked. So maybe what Alex topic? Or what did we have? Was it baseball?
We had baseball as with Dave with Blue Note Roofing, Jamie.
Yeah, kicked my butt.
And by the way, Dave. We have some gifts for you.
Swag for you when you return.
I like it.
No, you like the swag. So the Gauntlet is next when we return on the Fast Lane.
4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
All right, welcome back into the Fast Lane. Line changes. Jamie Rivers heads off. And Alex Ferrario swoops in.
There you go.
Stepping in on the Fast Lane. Perfect timing, too. I love me some trivia, and I step in on the Gauntlet, Carey.
Get ready.
All right, now here we have a returning winner from yesterday. Dave, if I'm remembering this correctly. Dave, welcome back.
Thank you very much. I'm ready to go.
All right, so I hear you took down Carey yesterday. You said you beat you pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, your options...
It felt bad, Dave.
Look at him being modest.
It felt bad.
Look at him being modest. So, your options, Dave, are Marshy Marsh, or, since I'm stepping in, you can pick me for the Gauntlet today.
Oh, I'm definitely picking you, and me and Carey are gonna be the ILL team, baby.
Oh, there it is. He heard me chirping ILL earlier today. I won't do that with Carey in the house.
Oh, you're always chirping ILL. Keep it up. Keep it up.
All right. Well, I will step out and let you boys take over.
All right, Alex is headed
Good luck, Alex.
He said, good luck, Alex.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
He said, thank you. He's headed out to the cone of silence. So, Dave, you know how this goes. Tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
Marshy, spin that wheel.
All right, Dave, you beat me in baseball yesterday. I don't know if you want to tell me which category you prefer, but you can let us know.
I prefer random now.
You prefer random now. Ooh. You almost had, so in full disclosure, Alex left it. Before he left, he said there's one category I don't want, and that's football. And now it was almost football. It scrolled just past it and landed on what, Marshy?
It landed on hockey.
Yeah, it landed on hockey.
Yes.
Yep. So
I threw the wheel off.
You know how
I didn't want random.
You didn't want random. Well, you didn't get random.
No.
You got hockey versus Alex, who is going to be doing hockey later on tonight. So you know how this goes. If you answer it correctly without the option, you get 2 points. If you answer it correctly with the option, you get 1 point. An incorrect answer, you get 0. Are you ready to roll, Dave?
I'm ready to go, Carey.
All right, here we go. The last time the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, which team did they beat?
Give me the options.
Was it the Nashville Predators, the San Jose Sharks, or the Dallas Stars?
I think it was Nashville.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 2. How many Blues players have scored more goals than Colton Parayko this season?
I got to take my shoes off. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to say 6.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 3. The Blues have scored 3 shorthanded goals this season, most recently by Matthew Joseph, who scored 1. Robert Thomas has scored 1. And which other player has scored 1 against the Nashville Predators?
Oh. Give me the options. I think it was at that game.
Is it Radek Faksa, Oscar Sundqvist, or Colton Parayko?
It was Sonny.
Final answer?
Oscar Sundqvist. Final answer.
Question number 4. Cam Fowler was drafted in the first round by the Anaheim Ducks in which year?
I have it narrowed down. Give me the options.
Options are 2008, 2010, or 2012.
2008. Final answer.
All right, we'll get Alex back in here. Dave, how you feel?
50-50.
50-50. All right. Well, we'll see. Alex is returning from the cone of silence. Looked like it was pretty packed in there.
It's a jam-packed house, Carey.
Yeah, all I see is shadows. It's like when you were watching those documentaries and they got the voice.
Muffled. It's FBI stuff in there. Yeah, we were concealing our identities
That's what
back
it
there.
looks like over there.
It's a packed house. Ryder, Grant Francis, Tanner Hendrickson.
Yeah. Hey, and you. All right.
And me.
So not the cone of silence, the cone of loudness.
Yeah, so now I am coming in truly blind.
All right. Are you ready to go?
I think I'm ready to go. I'm a little nervous.
It's your first time doing the gauntlet?
No, I've done this a few times.
Okay. Marshy, you want to tell them the category?
Well, first, pack a lunch.
Okay, that's on. Oh, I got a whole lunch pail right here,
There
Dave.
you go.
Okay.
Second, your category is hockey.
Oh, let's go. All right, Dave. It's going to be fun. Hey, I just was happy it wasn't football.
It actually almost was. It
Was it?
literally one tick and it scrolled over to hockey.
Could have given you the win if it was football.
All right, here we go, Alex.
Okay.
Last time the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, which team did they beat?
Last time Penguins won the Stanley Cup, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was the back-to-back years. I'm going to say the Red Wings. Final answer.
Question number 2. How many Blues players have scored more goals than Colton Parayko this season?
Okay, so Parayko, God, I don't remember the number he was at before he got injured, but I know he was close to 15. So if I'm going off of that, Schenn, Carey, Booch, Holloway, Neighbors, Thomas isn't there. Oh, man, like trying to think if I'm missing anybody here. So Booch, Neighbors, Holloway, Carey, Schenn. I'm going to say 5, final answer.
Question number 3. The Blues have scored 3 shorthanded goals this season. Most recently, Matthew Joseph scored 1, Robert Thomas has scored 1, and which other player scored 1 against the Nashville Predators?
So Pete behind the curtain, Grant Francis, our producer on the Blues broadcast, like, I know he's the one that comes up with these questions, but he's the one that always like comes up with like the most random question possible. And
welcome to the fast lane.
Yeah, I know. And then it's like, of course he does it. And I'm doing the games, and I'll sit here and be like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Grant. And Grant's like, oh, I know exactly who that is. I'm gonna need the options on this one. I think I know, but I need the options.
Is it Radek Faksa, Oscar Sundqvist, or Colton Parayko?
Oh boy. I remember this correctly. I think this was Oscar Sundqvist because I think it was in the third period. But part of me is a little worried it's an empty netter and it was Colton Parayko. I'm going to regret going against my gut, but now that I said Parayko, I think it's him, so I'm going to say Colton Parayko.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
Question number 4. Cam Fowler was drafted in the first round by the Anaheim Ducks in which year?
2000 and... I believe his first year with the Ducks was 12-13, or was it 13-14? I'm going to say 2011. Final answer.
Ooh, we got a good one.
Okay, good. I was worried I embarrassed myself there.
All right.
You get it, Alex.
I might still have, Dave. Let's be patient here.
Let's start there. Cam Fowler was drafted in the first round by the Ducks in which year? Dave, you took the options. You said 2008. Alex, you did not take the options. You said 2011. Would you like to know the options?
Yes, hit me with the options.
2008, 2010, and 2012.
Okay.
Correct answer is?
It is 2010.
Man, neither one of you got it.
It was right around that window, and if I would have got those options, I would have gone 2012, so either way, I'm getting that one wrong.
All right, let's go to the next question. Blues have scored 3 shorthanded goals this season, most recently by Matthew Joseph. Robert Thomas has scored 1, and which other player scored 1 this season?
This is going to piss me off if it's
Dave, you said I was at the game.
Oh,
it was sunny. Alex, you said it's sunny. I think it's sunny. But Colton Parayko might have done it as well. Oh, my God. I'm going to go against my gut, and I'm going to go with Colton Parayko. The correct answer is...
It is. Where'd you go, Alex? It's Colton Parayko.
Hey.
1-0. Oh, my gosh.
Dang.
You know what the wild part is? I wasn't even at that game. Grant had that game for me.
We got a 1-0 lead.
Penthouse suite, not watching much of it.
Understandable, Dave.
We got a 1-0 lead for Alex. Let's go to this question. The last time the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, which team did they beat? Dave, with the options, you said the Predators. Alex, without the options, you said the Red Wings. The correct answer is...
It is the Nashville Predators.
We got a 1-1 tie, and it all comes down to this. How many players have scored more goals than Colton Parayko this season? Now, Alex, you were doing some math.
Yeah.
You said, I got Carey, Holloway, Neighbors, Schenn, Booch. You didn't say Thomas.
I didn't say Thomas.
You went with 5.
Yeah.
Dave went with 6.
Oh.
If it's 5, Alex wins 3-1. If it's 6, Dave wins 3-1. If it's 4, 7, any other number, we got a walk-off.
Okay.
Dave.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. It was 5. Booch is not in the group.
Booch is not. Thomas is.
Thomas is.
Yep. Yeah. When I was going through those, so in my head, I was trying to remember, is Parayko at 15? Or I'm like, was he at 14, almost at 15? Which is why I didn't put Thomas in there. But Booch, man, I believed myself, but I actually helped myself
found
there.
Your way,
wow.
Found your way around.
I put them both in.
That's all right, Dave. That's the optimism for the Blues offense. I like that.
Dave, he got you 3-1 today. Good job in the Gauntlet, though. Good job yesterday as well. Appreciate having you on.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the balls.
Awesome. I missed that one.
Golf balls.
Golf balls. Okay, good. I was going to say, you enjoy the balls too, Dave. Whatever works best, I guess, on a Tuesday. We'll enjoy the balls after a win like this. Dave, good stuff as always. But I feel like that's a good way to open up the fast lane with you guys, right? Ooh. Even though I probably shouldn't have deserved to win that one.
So here's the thing. I almost hate football sometimes because you're expected to run the table.
Yep.
And I was thinking that when you said, hockey good, I'm like, that's all right, good luck.
Especially when it's like this season.
There you go.
You know, when it's this season, because in your head, you're confident with it.
Yes.
But then it's like, wait a minute, don't get this one wrong because you're the pre- and post-game host.
You're supposed to know.
Why, when you guys set that Sundqvist one up, I'm like, oh, my God, I got this one wrong. It was the first shorthanded goal of the season, and I got this one wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got the Gauntlet victory for the fast lane, although Dave did a great job. Coming up next on the fast lane, I texted these guys earlier today because I really wanted to get into special teams for the Blues. Because over these last 12 games, Carey, the Blues special teams, specifically the power play, has made a massive change. And one thing sticks out to me, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on that next here on the fast lane on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey Davis, and if you have been in an accident, if you've had hail damage, any damage, we had a huge storm a couple of days ago. If you've been putting off any exterior or auto repairs, call my friend Jeff at All Things Appearance. Him and his team will help you get set up with a rental if needed, or they can help pick you up and deliver your car to you to make the process as easy as he can. Jeff will assist you going through the insurance process and can help with your deductible when possible. And with lower overhead, Jeff helps you get the best prices in St. Louis on your repairs while providing top-notch customer service. So don't put off getting anything repaired. Any repair jobs, call Jeff or text him to get a free estimate. That number is 636-248-5051. That number is his personal cell phone number. You can call that any day, anytime, weekends. He will answer. He will respond to you promptly and try to get you and your family taken care of as quickly as possible, get you in and out, and get you back on the road. No one offers more services or does more for their customers than the team at All Things Appearance. Again, call them or text them, 636-248-5051. He's always available and he will always respond. Or you can visit their website at allthingsappearance.com.
We talk about, you got to have both ends of the special teams, at least not hurting you. And I think that the penalty kill has definitely hurt you. But, if you have to pick one here, I think I'm going to go with the power play just because for a couple of years it has not been performing. And now they've got it going. I think since the Four Nations break, Alex, it's at about 29%, which is one of the top 4 teams in the league. And it's scoring goals and helping you win some games. So, I think if you can keep that clicking, that would probably be pretty important because the Blues have been able to win some games even when the PK hasn't been successful. So, I don't see a dramatic turnaround with that group. So I would say keeping that power play going.
That, of course, is our Blues insider for The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, earlier today on BK and Ferrario. And I was the one that threw that question at him, Carey. And along with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh, I'm sliding in for Jamie Rivers today, who's on the broadcast out in Nashville where the Blues take on the Predators. And the reason I threw that at him, Carey, is because I think Blues fans hear special teams and they cringe a little bit this season. And it's understandably so. Prior to that Four Nations break, their power play was 19%. But for 2 months, Carey, it would never go above or below 19%. They'd drop a little, they'd go up a little. It would remain average, which kind of the statement for this team. But since the Four Nations tournament and JR's numbers that he handed there, the numbers were updated a little bit from the games last night. The Blues have the 6th best power play in the National Hockey League. It's clipping right now at 32%. They're better than Edmonton. They're better than Detroit. They're better than the Utah Hockey Club. A lot of teams that sit in the playoffs have a worse power play than what the Blues have put together. And why I'm so interested in this is because, and I'm sure you guys have talked a lot about this, Carey, what the power play has been missing for so long has been that one-time shot.
Yeah.
You do not have the option on either side. And over these last 12 games, you've started to see this emerge for the special teams. You've seen Dylan Holloway with a one-time shot. You've seen Zach Bolduc with the one-time shot. Even Jake Neighbors did it the other night against the Anaheim Ducks. To me, this team's got to push in them because of their 5-on-5 play. But what sets them over the top with Vancouver, Calgary, Utah, the other teams, is going to be special teams. And if you're going to unlock that potential of guys with one-time threats, guys that have the ability to get shots where some of the elite teams have that one-time shot, man, that's going to make the difference. That's going to make all the difference in the world. Teams have to play the Blues differently when they have a power play that's rolling.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of having an extra man. You're taking advantage of having an advantage and scoring those goals. And you talked about Dylan Holloway, and you talked about Zach Bolduc, and I hear Jamie talk about it all the time, finding that spot in the slots, finding just maybe moving a couple of feet away from the closest defender so you give yourself that extra room so when the puck does get on your stick, you're able to shoot that one-timer and score, and you're catching the goalie off guard. And it's really been, you mentioned it, it's the thing that they have been missing. It's like a couple of years ago, this team stinks on the power play. You almost would rather they just stay 5-on-5 or even shorthanded. They had a better chance. They were at an advantage when they were literally at a disadvantage.
I think 2 years ago they had like 7 or 8 shorthanded goals.
And it was terrible when they were on the power play. So having that ability to find guys, I see Jordan Kyrou is doing it. You talked about Holloway, you talked about Bolduc, and I think the thing about Bolduc is the one thing we've talked about his shot, his ability, like he has a shot. We need to see it, and now you're starting to see it. You didn't know what Dylan Holloway had until when he gets here, you're like, oh, this kid can play. And so having playmakers, having guys that have the one-timer that can shoot that shot when the opportunity presents itself and put it in the back of the net, it's obviously going to help your team be better because, those are the things you need. When you have an advantage, you got to score on those power plays, and they've been doing a good job of it.
And, Carey, you know this better than anybody. When you're a team that specializes in something, other teams have to adapt. Yeah. Right? They have to focus on that. And for the longest time, teams have just said, well, we keep them at 5-on-5. Yeah. But when the Blues have played poorly on the power play, teams can play you a little bit differently, right? They can take the extra hacks. They can take the extra pushes when you try and go to the front of the net because they know if you get a power play, well, that's fine. We'll kill it off and we'll move forward with it. And to me, a perfect example of what they did was against the Anaheim Ducks on the it was the second power play goal that they scored in the game because the first one, Holloway sets up for that one-timer. He's ready to go. Anaheim didn't expect it. Boom, back of the net. Yeah. That second power play that they got, if you watch it, Anaheim just shifted all of their guys to the far side where Holloway was. Yeah. And they're thinking, okay, well, he's going to shoot it, so we need to block this, and we'll be fine. And then, boom, you find that other slot wide open. They've just never had that one-time shot. And I think for this team's final 14 games, Carey, you've got to find an opportunity, the smallest opportunity to take advantage of opponents.
I think it also, you mentioned it also helps you in 5-on-5 because teams can't be as aggressive. Yeah. Like, they got to play the game straight up. They can't afford to take a penalty because now, as you said in years past, we can play as hard as we want to. Right. We can push, shove, rough you up a little bit more because even if we do get a penalty, you're not going to score. And now it's like, well, we can't actually do those things. So I think it helps in all elements of the game. It allows you to play better in 5-on-5. And obviously when you're on the power play, scoring a goal is it was mind-blowing that they couldn't do this a few years. It was so frustrating. Like, what's the point in having that advantage if you can't put the puck in the net? And now they are. You got some guys that I think are extremely talented. And we were talking about this earlier, just kind of the expectation for this team. Even if they don't make the playoffs, what are the expectations of this team? It's so exciting to watch this team now in comparison to even earlier this year or the last couple of years. Oh, yeah. Like, you actually believe they can win. And they probably will win because they're playing harder. They got guys that are scoring, and it looks – I mean, I texted the guys when Toropchenko went coach. What the hell is he doing? And why can't I get more of it? Like, where can I get more of that? Please and thank you. That was like, what are we doing?
That Toropchenko coast to coast had almost everything to do with Toropchenko going past Evgeny Malkin, and Malkin being like, this isn't worth it. I'm not even going to try and skate with this guy. Even Joey said on the broadcast, Malkin is the prototypical player that if you get past him, if he gets beat, it's like, I played in the league too long, I'm not going to even try.
I did my job. I did as best as I could. To hell with it.
Somebody needs to get him back there.
Get him. But it was like you have instances where you actually stand up out of your seat where a few years ago you're like, okay, maybe they'll score, maybe they won't.
Right.
Who knows? But now you're seeing those type of plays. You're seeing the one-timers. You're seeing guys that are I think are much more skilled than they've had in the past few years, and it's fun to watch.
It really is, and that's kind of what feels so odd about this when you're talking about it and saying, like, if they miss the playoffs, you'd think it's a disappointment, but from everything that you've seen, it just feels like you're building in the right way. Yeah. And Curbs and I had this conversation a couple of days ago, and what I think gets people even more excited, not just from what's happening on the ice, Carey, is what's about to come. Yeah. And this applies to the power play. We're talking about an area that the Blues have been unsuccessful with for the last couple of years. Now you're starting to see signs of life. Holloway, Bolduc. Man, that's not even bringing into the conversation what a guy like Jimmy Snuggerud can provide, who's got a one-time shot and is a right-handed shot, which is an element that the Blues don't have a lot of. And then you've got a Dvorsky as well, who could be that shot. And I heard you guys talking about this yesterday, and Marcia, I think you brought it up with Cam Fowler's presence. You add that into the equation, you got an actual power play quarterback. When you have two units and you've got those threats, teams don't know how to handle you. And I think that's where the Blues right now are at least moving with momentum in the right direction. And since we're on the special teams topic, you also have to bring in the penalty kill side of things. And I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this is. Which one, if you could have one be dominant the rest of the stretch for the Blues, power play or penalty kill, which one would you rather have?
I'm going to say power play. I would hope you don't have as many mistakes and take those unnecessary penalties. Because if you're at an advantage, you got to score.
Right.
So I would say power play. I should say penalty kill. Like everything in me wants to say penalty kill, but I'm an offensive guy. So scoring on the power play, give yourself that advantage. Get up on it. Score. Get up on the team and take advantage of it.
I think it has to be a power play, right? But I think you could make the argument for the penalty kill. They've been such a great team as of late, just diminishing the other team's opportunities. Like, how many times has the opponent had more than 27 shots on net?
It's 13 straight games that the Blues have not allowed more than 30 shots on goal.
Insane.
Yeah.
Right? But
that's really good.
Yeah.
I think you look at the Dallas game and you could be like, well, I think I'd like to clean up the
penalty kill
a little bit.
This would be good.
But it really hasn't been that egregious since that game. Granted, I don't know if you could make the argument that the Blues have played anybody up to that level since then, but it's got to be the power play, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to score. But the Blues are good at 5-on-5, too.
And see, that's where I think you guys are all right on. It's the power play. They've been one of the most disciplined teams in the National Hockey League this season. I think since the Four Nations break, they've committed the 7th fewest penalties in the National Hockey League, and I think overall they've committed the 5th fewest. So you're not on the penalty kill very often. Now, that Dallas game, Marshy's right. That was an anomaly, and the coaching staff's got to be like, we should probably fine-tune this a little bit. Yeah. You can't go 4 for 4 against us. But if you're only giving up one power play an opportunity in the game and that team scores, that's great. Team is still within reach. Right. So a penalty kill, for how good you've been 5-on-5, and really the penalty kill, the best killer is you're going to be your goaltender. You just need to make a couple of saves. Man, it's power play because, Carey, you take advantage of the opportunities.
Got to.
If a team's going to make a mistake and put you on the power play, you could extend a 1-goal lead to a 2-goal lead, 2-goal lead to a 3-goal lead. You put the game away early on.
So there's one thing, though, that has I wouldn't say it's a concern, but it's something that I've noticed is that sometimes they have a issue, I would say, getting the puck out of the zone on the first attempt. And really good teams will take advantage of that, and they'll bury the puck in the back of the net. And so that is one thing for me as I watch the rest of the stretch. Can you get the puck out of the zone on your first attempt? That way you're not giving the opponent more opportunities to score.
Yeah, no, you're spot on with that. And I don't believe you have a very tough opponent tonight on the power play, although Nashville, with all the names that they have, 21st in the NHL. So not the type of elite power play that Dallas Stars team was. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, I'm Alex Ferrario filling in on the fast lane with the fellas as we've got the Sports Six-Pack coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. We just touched on the Blues special teams. They'll be in action tonight taking on the Nashville Predators, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Alex Ferrario stepping up to the plate today in the fast lane. He'll be on the pregame for your St. Louis Blues. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5:30, get his thoughts on tonight's game as well, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack, so get your questions in to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
So this has changed since the last time I've done the Fast Lane. Typically, you try and squeeze in 6 questions into one segment. You guys said no.
Alex, we had this conversation.
There's a lot of drama surrounding this.
Marshy, because Marshy, Anthony and I were sitting here one day. We've been doing 2 segments of the Six-Pack since I've been on the show, I believe. And then Marshy said, "Yeah, you guys, what do you guys think about just making it one segment?" And I'm like, "Why? How the hell would we do that? What are we doing here?
We're good.
The people want our answers, and sometimes our answers run on. They run long. So, we got to give the people what they want.
We provide in-depth coverage.
There you go.
Here on the Fast Lane.
Hell, Marshy talking about.
I think it's like a branding. It's for me, it's a branding thing. So it's like Sports Six-Pack. I'm expecting 6 questions within that said segment, not 6 overall.
Well, here's the thing: you're listening to the Fast Lane. You know us. Yeah. And we take our time.
Yeah,
because
fair.
we provide the best answers we can give you.
Yeah.
Intricacy.
Like quality over quantity.
I like it.
That's what my math teacher used to tell me.
Brand that, Marshy.
Brand that. Quality over quantity. Yeah. So send us your questions for the Sports Six-Pack. We'll get to those 314-399-9646. That is our Air Comfort Service text line. Also over on our YouTube chat, the Air Alliance Team YouTube chat, or, as the Fast Lane loves to call it, the Snake Pit, which they have been much nicer than what I heard they did to my friend BK yesterday.
Oh.
What do you mean? We got a text message that said, Dr. Smooshy Poops. He said, "I appreciate you, BK.
Did.
Oh,
BK didn't believe him.
Poops.
And that was one.
He never believes them. Yeah. It's because he was going to get that conductor hat on.
Well, he did. We'll have to see what Mizzou does. I pray for their.
Oh, yeah.
He put it on for Mizzou?
Oh, yeah.
You should have heard him today, Carey. He was talking about how he's like, I think they're going to be an Elite 8 team. And I said, put the hat on. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. He knows better to do it. All right, Marshy, what do we got?
Question number 1.
Interesting question from the 636. Would you go full-on vegan for a year if it guaranteed a championship for your favorite team?
Yes. I would try. I did try. So vegetarian is a little bit easier than vegan because there are so many things that you cannot eat.
Don't sound easy.
Well, vegetarian is easier. Because you can eat pizza, just without meat.
Okay,
right? So you can eat certain things. You can eat pasta without meat.
Okay,
but if you go vegan,
it's
you might as well drink water and just water.
No,
it's very difficult.
Can we change the question in the Six-Pack to vegetarian for your team to win a championship? Then
I think it's supposed to be hard.
I don't think I could live off of just water and fruits and vegetables.
I mean, there are mushrooms. You can eat. You can.
No,
you can.
I don't think I could.
You can eat some things. I think like the Impossible.
The Impossible burgers.
Yeah. You can eat those.
Yeah, I think my team's going to have to do it themselves.
I think you're going to have to take it upon yourself, Blues, to figure this one out because I can't take one for the team. You know what? I would say as a avid fan, I'd be like, I'm going to do it. A month in, I'm going to be like I'll be like Kramer from Seinfeld. I'm out.
You're done.
Game over. No way. Not happening. I'd be lucky if I make it a month.
Yeah. Vegetarian, I think, is easy. I did try vegetarian.
How long did you
while.
make?
A couple weeks.
Couple weeks?
Yeah.
That's impressive. I wouldn't
Actually, so I went like 3, maybe 6 months without red meat.
Wow.
Like when I was playing in Atlanta. And I'll never forget. So I remember I was like, I'm not going to eat red meat. I was like, I'm good. And then I was driving by Burger King one day, and you can smell. You can smell like
chicken with the windows up.
Yeah, I'm getting me a Whopper, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I literally went through the drive-thru, got the Whopper, got on the road, started eating it, and I pulled over to the side of the damn road and finished that damn Whopper. I got to eat it. I couldn't. I had been so long.
I thought you were going to finish it in the drive-thru before you pulled away.
I almost did.
The lady from Burger King hands it to you. Says, "Have a nice day." You got another one back in there?
Carey drove up to the little, drive-through lane and just goes, Whopper, 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 Whopper.
Right now, please. Yeah. It was bad.
Oh, yep. I couldn't do it.
No, not at all.
Nope.
Not at all. Like, you're telling me not to eat chicken, not to eat a burger.
I did.
What else can't you eat?
Yeah, you.
I don't even know the rules of.
No eggs.
No eggs?
No milk.
What?
Oh, well, my
if it
kids
comes
wouldn't survive.
from an animal on a vegan diet, you can't
It's
have
got to
it.
be plant-based.
Plant-based.
It's
So
got to
no
grow.
eggs, no milk. Like, yeah, it's hard.
No way.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm out.
Sounds terrible.
I'm out.
And no offense to the vegans out
No,
there.
hey, more power to you.
Absolutely.
You're stronger than I am because I would not be able to do that.
I just need protein.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm just lucky if I put a vegetable on my plate at dinner. That's typically how I roll.
Yeah, I'm not a big veggie guy.
No,
I do like broccoli.
It's
and
amazing.
I like cauliflower.
It's amazing
and
what
corn.
happens with kids, though, right? Because like prior to kids, I never wanted vegetables. Now I feel like
You have to.
It's parent guilt if I make a meal and don't have a vegetable next to it.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they never will.
No, yeah, they're just
They're like, hey, you don't do it.
Yeah.
Why should I?
Dino nuggets and potato chips. Why do I need it?
It doesn't stop. My son is 12. He still wants chicken nuggets, mac and cheese. Hey,
Pizza.
Man, he doesn't even like pizza.
Oh, that's a
He doesn't
crime.
like any marinara sauce. Like, he doesn't like red sauce.
So what you're
He doesn't
telling me
eat spaghetti.
is my 4 and 3-year-old, I got 8+ more years before they eat anything
That's
other
what
than
I'm
mac
telling
and
you.
cheese and Dino nuggets.
There you go.
Well, hopefully mac and cheese doesn't get priced up because that is what we live off of these days.
The 314 says all protein comes from plants.
There you go.
Not in my world.
Not my world. Mine
Not
comes
my
from
world.
cows and pigs, maybe some chicken every once in a while.
Oh, we're going to get some text in.
Yep.
Vegans driving around listening.
Not happy.
No, I
Salute
said like
to you.
all power to
No, I
them.
said
I'm
salute
just
to 'em.
saying,
Yeah.
like I couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Nope.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I wouldn't do it.
Not even for a championship.
Not
Shame
even
on
for
you
a
all.
championship. They're gonna have to work their.
How much do you love the Vikings,
butt off.
Marshy?
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't bring them up.
Just saying, man. You've lived through a lot of pain. You don't think you want to
have.
just sacrifice that pain for 1 year of all vegetables and fruits?
And that's a good point because he's never seen the Vikings
No.
championship.
Like, you've seen the Blues.
You've seen that. So
You've seen the Cardinals.
You can say, I wouldn't do it. The Cardinals and Blues. But you've never seen those Vikings. Skull. Your vegan
No, you
version
know
of
what?
yourself
Man.
doing the skull.
You should have done it for Sam Darnold, more than importantly.
I'll tell you right now, I'd go a full year of doing that. He promised a championship.
You are
And they
scarred.
still blow it. That's what's called being a cursed team. If you're cursed, you're cursed.
All right.
And I became a fan of them.
See, this is why we have
This is
two
it.
segments
Yeah,
of the six
This
pack.
makes sense. We might need 3 of them.
Let's do
Let's
one
get
more.
one more.
Yep.
Question number 2.
All right, from the 314, what would you want to do if the Cardinals are in first place at the deadline as the National League Central sucks?
Trade them.
We had this topic a couple of weeks ago, I think, or last week. And I said the worst thing that can happen for the Cardinals
is being a good team.
Ryan Helsley is an all-star playing, leading the league in saves. Yep. Nolan Arenado is this 2022 form. He's topping the MVP candidate race.
Right.
You know, Wilson Contreras played the whole season thus far. Ain't been hit by a bat or a ball
35
yet.
plus home runs.
He's like this is the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Like those guys playing well and this team right there on the cusp of doing great.
I'm going to sound heartless, Carey. You just laid out that scenario in front of me. Trade them. Trade them.
There's no way in hell they are trading those guys. If they're leading the division,
you're saying the right thing. There's no way in hell they're trading them. The Cardinals are sitting there going, "Oh,
this
baby,
is it.
Our what youth movement turned to transition, and now it's championship."
There you go.
I would still trade Helsley because the package would be even bigger.
It would be
for a guy if you're helping that team get to the NL Central. I would still trade Nolan Arenado. I have to go big picture if I'm the Cardinals. And if I'm a fan right now, my concern, my doubt isn't over the players. My concern, my doubt is how it's run. And I don't trust you if you're going to be like, this is, because you know what's going to happen, Carey? They do that. They miss the playoffs because they go poorly post-trade deadline or they get bounced in the first round. And they say, no, you know what? We're going to lean into this roster.
Yeah. Run it back.
Yeah, we're going to run it back.
We're right there.
We should try and brainwash all Cardinal fans into thinking that what the Cardinals do is actually good. So then the Cardinals will do the opposite, which is actually what we want. You know?
Okay.
I don't.
You know, like
Plankton
and the chum buckets. He puts the buckets on everybody and you know.
Yeah. Makes
from
them.
the SpongeBob movie. I'm sure you've seen it.
I have seen it.
I have too. I don't remember that. It's been a while.
Plan Z. The Cardinals are on Plan Z right now.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. I don't. Does it work?
No, actually, it didn't work.
Yeah,
SpongeBob.
No,
Patrick saved.
I was going to say actually, Plankton never wins. So what you're doing is you're saying Mo is Plankton, and it doesn't end up. He's not going to get the Krabby Patty recipe, is what you're telling me right now. Heim, hopefully, will get the Krabby Patty recipe. All right, so we got 2 in the Sports Six Pack, and I just made a Mo and Plankton reference, so we're off and running. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsham, Alex Ferrario. Hey, do want to remind you that all the March Madness is here, and you can hang out with me, BK, and Jamie Rivers this Saturday at Max Downtown in Alton, Illinois for a Circa Sports Illinois watch party. You can come enjoy some great food, cold drinks, prize giveaways, nonstop basketball action, plus download the Circa Sports Illinois app and get in on the games while watching it all unfold live. It's happening this Saturday from 6 to 8 with me, BK, and Jamie Rivers at Max Downtown in Alton, Illinois with Circa Sports. Get more details at 101ESPN.com. More on your Sports Six-Pack next on 101 ESPN.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
So that might have been the record for the fewest questions.
I don't know. We've done one.
You've done one before?
Yeah, we've done one.
All right, so I don't feel like
got one in one time.
I don't feel like I put you guys in a bad spot the one time I step in.
No.
You're right on. Listen, this is
we're good.
This is the expectation.
Yeah, I figured this was a safe space, but I just wanted to make sure. So it is the Sports Six Pack, which means you send us them in. Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646, and also our Air Alliance team YouTube chat. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Alex Ferrario. Let's get to question number 3, Marsh.
Question number 3.
All right, so the 314 who texted in that Cardinals question follows up with another one. Why do you want the Blues to make the playoffs even if they get kicked out of the first round, but the Cards could be in first place at the trade deadline, but you want them to trade and not make the playoffs? It makes no sense.
No, it's a very good question, and I should elaborate with this. For me personally, because, Carey, I'm viewed as the Cardinals hater on BK and Ferrario, the Blues honk. The difference is the guys that I said to trade on the Cardinals, Helsley and Arenado. Those guys to me aren't a part of the core moving forward because I don't like to pay closers, specifically 4 or 5 year contracts. Those never work out for you. And Nolan Arenado, even if it's an incredible season, I'd still look at this as, okay, but he's not going to plan into the future. If you can make the playoffs with all of these younger guys, go for it.
Right.
Still going to move on from Arenado and Ryan Helsley. Why I think the Blues is more important is because you're looking at what this team could potentially and should be 4 or 5 years from now. Yeah. All of these younger players, playoff experience is crucial if you want to open up the window for this Blues team starting next year.
I think you are more certain of the state of the Blues than you are the state of the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's going to be transition next year. There are going to be some new guys on the team, but your core is there. You're probably going to add a Dalibor Dvorsky and a Snuggerud, and you're probably going to lose one of those third-line guys or maybe a fourth-line guy. Somebody is going to not be on this roster that is on the roster now, and then you're going to have some younger guys. But the core, the most part, all the guys that you just named that were leading goal scorers for the team will be here, right? And so with the Cardinals, you don't know what the future holds. You will have to pay Ryan Helsley if he comes back next year. Nolan Arenado is a contract you are already trying to get away from, and you want that position open because you need to have Nolan Gorman playing there or someone else that you can get that bat into the lineup and not feel restricted and have to keep a young player like Victor Scott in the minors because there's not enough room for him. So I think that's the difference. You know where the Blues are in comparison to where the Cardinals are. They are probably 2 years apart in terms of the Blues are right there knocking on the door to be in the playoffs, and the Cardinals are probably a year, 2 years away from actually knocking on the door to be in the playoffs.
Right. And some of this might be the front office too, because I know Doug Armstrong is cold-hearted, and even if we think a guy's a part of the team, if there's a better option, they'll make that move. Give you a great example. If the Cardinals were to go on this run that we were hypothetically talking about, which if you missed it, it was they presented it being first place in the National League Central at the trade deadline. What are you going to do? And I said, sell Helsley, sell Nolan Arenado. If this team is in that spot, I could see them give Ryan Helsley a 5-year, $90 million contract. I could see him go to an Eric Fedde or a Miles Michaelis and say, let's do another contract. You worked really well at the end.
Oh, no!
I do not want those items to happen, so that's why I would love if you're in first place in the NL Central and you're in that spot, trade Helsley, trade Arenado, and I'm still going to root like hell for you to make the playoffs. I just don't want those guys to be on the roster.
So that would mean that this team did what we expected them to do, like maybe in 3 years, so that timeline then goes up, but wouldn't you want to keep some of those guys around because your team is doing so well?
Maybe, but my concern is, Arenado, I don't think you're going to be able to move off from him regardless, but Nolan Arenado, I'd be worried that the fallback happens. This was just a breakthrough bust-out year, and he goes back down to earth, and then you're still with it. And with Ryan Helsley, this is just like a me philosophy. I don't like paying closers because typically it doesn't work out well for you. I think I saw the projection. We talked with the guy that puts the projections together for The Athletic yesterday on BK and Ferrario, and he said Devin Williams is expected to get like 4 years, $82 million. And Ryan Helsley's probably going to be more than that. So 5 years, $90 million, and 5 years, $90 million for a closer scares the hell out of me.
You see those? Did you hear those people?
Yeah,
they're outside. Those are the people outside. They're screaming. They don't like your take.
Angry mob.
They don't like your take, Alex.
Yeah. 2 questions in the 6-pack. Angry mob. All right,
maybe it was a phone.
Let's move on to the next one. Then maybe I'll piss some more people off.
Question number 4.
That's in play from the 618. If Busch Stadium is half empty all season long, will it motivate owners to make changes?
Yeah. Sure. Cut salary. What the hell are you talking about? We got to get some of this money off the books, baby.
Was that Kerry Davis laughing or Bill DeWitt III?
Oh, you're not going to show up for this? Watch this. Yeah, we'll make changes. It's going to cost you a little more to park.
Yep.
Cost you a little more to buy beer.
That hot dog's going to be from 8 to 18.
Got to make a few more dollars.
What?
Yeah. Won't be what you think. Why aren't you showing up? This is the Cardinals, damn it. What else you doing? Oh, that was the Reds owner that said that.
Yeah, that was the Reds owner. But, I mean, it could have been the Cardinals owner. What else you got to do?
What the hell else are you doing, huh?
Do you guys think that this is a weird question.
We like those.
Do you think this is the best thing for the Cardinals would be for the Blues to have an extended run in the playoffs?
Yes. Because it takes pressure. Because the city is not so clamoring for anything. Like you're not like these last 2 years for St. Louis, in my opinion, with the Blues and the Cardinals not making the playoffs. Because the first year, the Cardinals didn't make it like, oh, the Blues season is right around the corner. And then you're like, oh no, that was bad. Then the next year, okay, well, Cardinal season is right around the corner. Oh no, it's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went that way. Yeah, no. So you need some excitement.
Let's think about it. In March, the past 2 years, the Blues have been out of it.
There you go.
So every eye was focused on spring training and what the expectations are going to be. Now, if you get a run to go, let's just say late April, that would be the first round. Telling me that nobody's going to be worried about the Cardinals until May?
Yeah. But will people go to Busch
31
Stadium?
games out of the way.
Will people be going to Busch Stadium? Or will they be watching
People
Blues
will be
games?
going to Ballpark Village.
Yeah.
People will be going to Ballpark Village.
They're smart. They'll have the Blues games on.
Yep. And then they'll have the Cardinals on that little bitty TV that you can look at over the corner.
By the way, Cardinals
are playing.
Are
but
they?
You know what? Ballpark Village, they may tell you differently, but Ballpark Village, just like Busch Stadium money.
There you go. See?
That would be what would be the best thing for the Cardinals is the Blues not only go on an extended run this year, but open up a competitive window for the next 5+ years.
I think that window is open. I think
Mark Parrish told us
they make the playoffs.
Mark Parrish told us yesterday. Sorry to interrupt you, Carey.
No, you're good.
He said that this Blues team resembles a lot of what Jim Montgomery's 2018-2019 Dallas Stars team did. That went on a late run, got to the playoffs, and then did some damage in the playoffs, lost to the Blues in the second round. That opened up a window from 2018-2019 all the way up until today where they have missed the playoffs once. And he said that this team's more likely... He said this team is deeper and more talented than what Jim Montgomery had in Dallas that first year.
I think that. So there you go. You guys said, okay, a good thing for the Cardinals would be if the Blues go on an extended run here. I would almost push back on the Blues opening their window and like being a very, very good team in the next 2 years, and the Cardinals not. I don't think that's a good thing for them at all.
You don't think it's good for the Cardinals?
No.
Why is that?
Because people start to lose interest.
See, I actually, and this is just two differing views. I look at this as the Cardinals can do all of the dirty work of what they have to do without every single eye focused on them. They're going to be focused on them at some
time
point.
To get your bleep together while everybody is not peering in and seeing what you're doing.
That's fair.
People are excited about the Blues from May until June, and then it's the off season, and then the Cardinals can do their business. And then all of a sudden, when the Cardinals figure it out, the Blues are in that window, it's like, whoa.
Now we're good again.
Where'd they come from?
Yeah.
And now you got two teams that are competing. To me, that's best for business.
Okay.
Look at me sounding like a chairman over here.
If the Cardinals are going to stink, it'd be best.
Okay.
Don't.
We got 4? I think we got 4.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. We'll say 2 of those had like double questions involved with them. So we got 6 on your 6-pack today here on the Fast Lane. Coming up next, talking about the Blues opening up a competitive window. How impactful is this week specifically these next couple of games going to be for the Blues? I've got some numbers, and I want to get Marshy and Carey's thoughts on it next year on 101 ESPN.
You know, I don't think you can look past Nashville, especially when you're going to play them. It's going to have such a ramification, the matchups down the stretch 3 times the next 6 games. But, you know, to look ahead to Vancouver, we can do that. The team doesn't want to do that, but we can. It's huge. I mean, that could be your season. I know I talked about the double-digit games left, but to be able to win that game, 4-point swing against the Canucks team, and maybe that sets the tone for the single-digit games down the stretch. And all these teams, and that's why the Blues are somewhat in the position they are, as you guys know, is none of these teams have run with it, and now the Blues are doing that. So anytime you get a chance to catch one of these teams head-to-head and kind of make that statement and say, hey, this is our playoff spot to lose, I think that's what's going to make Thursday a lot of fun to watch.
That's Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic talking about the upcoming schedule for the Blues. And with Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, I'm Alex Ferrario sliding in here on the fast lane. Guys, to me, the next 2 games are must-win critical ones for the Blues. And that sounds like Captain Obvious answer that you're going to hear from now until the end of the regular season, Carey. Every game is a must-win if this team wants to make the playoffs. Totally. But when I look at tonight against Nashville and Thursday against Vancouver, to me, it's separation. So, Carey, just to give you a peek behind the curtain, I put together a little advent calendar of every single game the rest of the way that matches up when the Blues play, when Calgary plays, Vancouver, Utah. Calgary, ladies and gentlemen, is always going to have at least 2 games in hand on you until April 12th. So when you get to the final 2 games of the regular season, they're going to have 4 games left in the regular season. So they're going to be there with you tight no matter what. Vancouver and Utah, a little bit different. As it stands right now, the Blues have 1 more game played than Vancouver, 2 more than Calgary, 1 more than Utah. So why is tonight and Vancouver's game on Thursday important, Alex? Because tonight, Calgary plays the New York Rangers on the road, the Utah Hockey Club plays Edmonton on the road, and Vancouver plays Winnipeg. Those are all top teams in their division with the exception of the Rangers, but they're in a playoff race just like the Calgary Flames are, and Calgary played last night. If for some odd reason the schedule works in their favor to where those teams struggle and the Blues can pick up 2 points against Nashville, specifically I'm locating the Vancouver game, Carey, because they're playing the Winnipeg Jets tonight. If Winnipeg wins and the Blues win, the Blues would put themselves 2 points up on the Vancouver Canucks, and Vancouver still has 1 game in hand on you. But then you play Thursday. And Thursday's game against Vancouver could be 2 more points and really a 4-point swing if you think about it, because now you put yourself 4 points ahead of Vancouver with the Canucks still having 1 game in hand, but you've got 2 more games in the first tiebreaker against them, and they're chasing you now with only 1 game in hand. And to me, you need to start separating yourself from some of these other opponents. Because what you can't have happen is you lose and they lose, because nobody's gaining ground. What you really can't happen is you lose and they win. But if you can take advantage of these next couple of games, and Calgary, by the way, they play the Rangers, then the Devils, then the Islanders. Vancouver plays Winnipeg, St. Louis, the Rangers. Utah plays Edmonton, Tampa, Buffalo. They've got tough opponents. I know you have to get your job done first, which is the most important task. But when you look around, this could be a real opportunity for the Blues to extend the gap against Calgary, Vancouver, and Utah by 2, 4, maybe even 6 points.
Yeah, it is huge. I mean, I joke around and I always say this week is the most important week of the season. Well, this is actually the most important week of the season, as you just laid out. I think the most important thing, though, is you have to take care of your business. Like, you can worry about, you shouldn't, but you can. You shouldn't worry about what the other teams are doing because, like you said, if you don't win your game, it doesn't matter. Like, that's the most important part, regardless of who has games in hand. You talked about Calgary having 2 games in hand pretty much the entire season until the end, and Vancouver having 1 game right now. But if you take care of your business, now you said it, they're chasing you, and the pressure is on them. They have to continue to win as long as you continue to win. So, these next 2 games are extremely important, especially the Vancouver game on Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
That you have to win that game. But take care of business tonight. I mean, this Nashville team has not been great this year. They are having what would be considered a down year for that organization. So beat the hell out of them. Like, show up. This is your second time playing them, and you got this team 2 more times after tonight. So show up, beat the hell out of them, get back, and get ready for Thursday night.
Make a statement against Nashville, because that's what you really need to do. And here's the thing. You got to have the right frame of mind as a team to be in that position, because if I could argue against myself, I guess you could look at it and say, is that a bad thing for the Blues to maybe get into the driver's seat? Because then you don't have that mindset where you have to go out there and you have to win. You get a little comfortable, and then bad things can kind of slip into your game. But this team's just got the right frame of mind right now. And if you look, Calgary's got 2 wins in their last 9 games. Utah's been playing some pretty decent hockey. Vancouver's been playing .500 hockey. So that's why if you can find a way to really start putting pressure on these teams that maybe didn't believe they were going to be here at this time of the season, Vancouver probably did, Utah maybe not so much, Calgary absolutely not, that's when you could start to put some doubt into their minds. And for how the Blues are playing, Carey, it's so consistent that it doesn't feel like adversity can hurt them.
It's fun to watch. Like, they've been playing outstanding. I think they're 8-2-2 since the Four Nations face-off, and they've been playing outstanding. Just watching them, it's a different team. I don't know what the hell happened when they had those 2 weeks off. Maybe people got healthy. Maybe they got together and exercised the demons. They got
Bora did it.
All of the bad things that were going on. Or maybe they just said, forget it, we're going to play harder. And we're going to play collectively, and we're going to do the minor detailed things that are required for us to win, because that's what they've been doing. And so, it's been fun to watch. And to me, to answer your question, I would rather be in a position where I am in the lead. That way I don't have to scoreboard watch.
Yeah.
I take care of my business. I don't give a damn what you do. I'm in the lead. You have to catch me now, which, again, as you said, puts more pressure on those teams to be perfect. They have to play perfect games. They can't get 1 point. They got to get 2 now. So it just changes other teams' philosophy if you continue to win and put that pressure on them.
And you know better than anybody, Carey, you've been in locker rooms. When a group feels like they can't be beat, if you get that mindset, it's hard to break that. It's hard to let any type of adversity set in. And that was the quote from Monty on Sunday, where he said, this team is actually seeking out challenges so that they can prove those challenges wrong. So that, to me, tells you got a firm mindset of a team that knows what's coming, and it's just a matter of putting pressure on the Calgarys, the Vancouvers, and the Utahs. By the way, Calgary, they play 2 days after you wrap up your season. So another reason why it's also important to get your own business done. You don't want to finish that season on Tuesday against Utah, and then they have the opportunity to leapfrog you. If you could get more points, the better right now, especially for Calgary, who's got a tough schedule ahead. Carey Davis, I'm Alex Ferrario. We'll talk it over with Joe Vitale. He's going to join us in about 15 minutes or so. But coming up next, Around the Diamond, we're going to talk about one specific player that I believe is going to get more playing time than he probably should. We'll get to that next here on 101 ESPN.
Around the Diamond with your St. Louis Cardinals.
All right, so we get to Around the Diamond on the fast lane along with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Alex Ferrario. I tried not to spoil the surprise on who the player was today before we went into the break. And Carey, the guy that you guys are Around the Diamond today with is Pedro Pages. Mm-hmm. And on the surface, you hear Pedro Pages and you say, what is there to talk about? The backup catcher, got Ivan Herrera. Are you really going to see much of Pedro Pages this year?
Hey, can I ask you a question, Alex?
Yeah, please.
Have you seen Ivan Herrera throw the ball?
No, I unfortunately have, Carey, and I think the Cardinals are probably hoping that he doesn't throw the ball very much.
Bad.
This is why, though, I look at Pedro Pages' season. You have to have these guys. You have to have a backup catcher who could do something your primary catcher can't do, right? Like, that's how you take advantage of certain teams, certain games. I'm coming into this season, and this is nothing against Pedro Pages. It was a fun year last year. I want to see him as little as possible. And I understand Ivan Herrera can't throw the ball to second base to save his life. I don't care, Carey, because for me, I want Ivan Herrera's bat in the lineup, and I want to know what he is for 162 games.
Yeah.
Because I know his position's not catcher. He probably knows it's not catcher or shouldn't be catcher for how the Cardinals view defense first. But can he be an all-star? Bat for 130 games? Because if so, I'll find a spot for you to play, whether it's first base or DH if I got another catcher.
I think his bat plays. I obviously, Herrera we're talking about. Pages is, I think defensively, I think he frames a little bit better. I think he does some of the, but he's not that much better in the run game when we're talking about how poorly Ivan Herrera has been, last year and this spring training. I think that's going to be a huge problem for the Cardinals. And we talked about it earlier. Were you weren't? It was Jamie I and Marsh, and we were talking about the Cardinals, how they have seemed to go with the offensive option for this season versus the defensive option. And Anthony talks about it all the time. Up the middle, catcher, second base, shortstop, center field. Your center fielder, your second baseman, and your catcher are not the best players in my opinion for those positions if you got those guys starting every day.
Yeah.
But that's what you're going to have.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you're going to see Herrera. I have no clue. I think he's fine with what he does, but he has to, if he's going to be a difference maker for this team, he's going to have to be better in the run game than Herrera is, and he's going to have to hit the ball a little bit better than he has. I don't think he'll hit it as well as Ivan Herrera does, but he has to hit it better than he has in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. And look, you want to see improvements from that catcher position, specifically on the defensive side, because it's the Cardinals. You can't have a weak spot defensively. But to your point and to Anthony's point of being strong up the middle, if I'm the Cardinals, which I know they have a different mindset than I probably do, I look at two of those three positions and say, I know I'm good there. Victor Scott, he's going to be my center fielder. I know he's a Gold Glove caliber defensive player. The bat's just got to learn a little bit more, and that's what you're patient with. Second base and shortstop, you guys are laughing. What did I miss?
Man, that was
I'm just
hilarious.
laughing at the text line.
That was
Like,
funny.
it just happens sometimes.
It was funny.
What did I miss?
Yeah, something about putting somebody behind home plate without any gear on.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
It sounds
deadly.
Safe. He didn't say he couldn't have a glove, though. So, with that being said, he said, hey, I can read it. Put Mo behind the plate. Don't give him a cup, shin guards, chest protector, or helmet or face mask. But
we just run out of the way when the ball comes in.
He got a glove. What do you need?
Oh, you got the glove. You're good. You don't need any other protection back there. Understandable.
No, he's the guy that catches, the warm-up pitches before one of these two catchers goes out there while they're, waiting after they just hit a home run, right?
And we've all seen those
warm-up shin guards on.
We've all seen those warm-up pitches, though. Sometimes those can be just as deadly.
I used to umpire Little League Baseball when I was like 16, and sometimes I would be behind the plate. And I remember one team, the catcher, he was afraid of the ball. And when I mean afraid of the ball, I mean literally moving out of the way as the ball was coming. And I got hit probably 4 or 5 times. I said, hey, time. Hey, coach, we got to get somebody back here to catch this damn ball or we're not going to play. Like, I'm not the catcher. I don't have a glove.
You're not the backstop.
I'm not the backstop. Get somebody that can catch the ball, or we'll sit here.
All I can picture right now is Carey Davis like Happy Gilmore, just oh, God, yeah, I love it. Oh, God.
Wait, hang on a second. This just got me thinking. Can you give us your strikeout call.
Oh, yeah. Right now. Oh, yeah.
It's been a while.
No,
Give
come
us
on.
your strikeout
Come
call.
on. Yes.
There you go.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Marsha, you need to clip that and have that as a sounder. Yeah. Every time somebody makes a mistake on this show, Carey just dropping the strike call on him.
Strike!
Yeah, I never could pull that one off.
I had fun.
Was it no, like, you're out? Just.
Yeah.
That strike.
Yeah, just.
I mean, you kind of know after that one.
That's fair. Yeah, I know. You're not doing like backflips or anything like the Savannah Banana umpires are.
You don't want to. They're kids. You don't want to.
You don't want to milk it a little bit. You don't need the umpire showing them up. What we should do is we need to get Carey to go just appear at like a rec league softball game, not tell anyone, and then just stand behind the plate and just troll every batter that steps into the box.
We get a message from Splashback Deuce in the Snake Pit. It says, "Here we go, strike 3."
I like that too.
That's a good one. I don't even remember where I was at with this one.
This is the
fast lane. Okay, this is good.
Goes off the rails.
Going
it's
back
5 o'clock.
Up the middle, 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
You got Scott up the middle in center field. To me, your second base and shortstop is going to be a J.J. Weatherhold, a Mason Wynn. And in the catcher spot, it seems like they got a lot of guys in the minor league system. I just want Ivan Herrera to play. There's 3 guys, Carey, for me. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what happens. He plays every game he's healthy. It's Lars Nootbaar, it's Nolan Gorman, and it's Ivan Herrera.
Okay.
Those are the 3 guys that, and I know earlier today, BK and I got into the argument over Alec Burleson. Fine, but I'm not as tied down to that one as much as I am. I want to know what Herrera is by the end of the season. I want to know what Gorman is by the end of the season, and I want to know what Nootbaar is, which unfortunately for Pedro Pajes doesn't give you a whole lot of runway.
Well, yeah, I mean, it to me, the best thing about what I thought would be the best thing about this team was you would have younger guys playing and they would get that full opportunity. I would add Jordan Walker into that mix as well because I need to see, like, you don't know. You don't know what Nolan Gorman is. You have an idea of what Lars Nootbaar is, but he has to stay healthy. Right. You need to see him for a full season. You want to see him. You want to see Herrera. You want to see Jordan Walker. Like, you want to see these guys play every single day. And if they stink, then you can move on from this process.
We don't have to do this anymore.
You don't have to do it again. Like, okay, man, you ain't good enough. Man, I love you. Great job. Appreciate your services. We're going to go elsewhere. And that's what sports are. If somebody tells you that it's anything different, they're lying. As an athlete, you know, I didn't stink. I got to get a new job. Like, I was reading a tweet the other day, and it was a former pitcher. His wife was talking to their son. They had a rough outing. And she's like, "Oh, it's okay, son. You had a rough outing today. At least we still have our house. When Daddy pitched poorly, we had to find a new home." So that's what we know.
Oh, my God.
When you stink, you got to find a new job, or you don't have a job. It's the realest part of sports that I enjoy. Either I did it or I didn't. Yeah. If I didn't do it, I stunk. I got to go. It's good. It is what it is.
I'm more amused by the wife just trolling the husband right there.
I wish I remember who it was, but yeah.
It's okay, buddy. Yeah. The daddy couldn't strike anybody out, and we had to move 3 different places.
Every time. Yeah.
All I'm picturing now is just Chaim Bloom with a red folder at the end of the season, and he just comes in when Mo's gone, and he sits down and he goes, "All right, bring in so-and-so. You're fired. Yeah. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Can we move on now, please?"
Yeah.
One more strike call, Carey.
Strike break.
Oh, there it is. Let's see if Joe Vitale's got any good strike calls. I guarantee he's at least umpired or officiated something in his up-and-coming hockey career. Joe Vitale from Nashville joins us next here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues take on the Nashville Predators tonight. You can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We're going to talk with Joe Vitale next. We'll dive into tonight's matchup and talk all fun stuff with Joe coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
And Andrew Marsh, Alex Ferrario hanging out with you on the Fast Lane as we head to the Collier and Thompson phone line now. And Carey, we always say on Thursdays it's the best day of the week because we get to catch up with our favorite Joe Vitale. I get double dose Joey V today. I got this, and then he joins me on pregame starting at 6 o'clock. And this is the Nashville version of Joe Vitale, which means it's the best version of Joe Vitale.
Joey V.
Joe, what's up, my man?
What's up, boys? What's up in Nashville? Place is crazy. Something about Nashville's becoming the Vegas of the East. I mean, people come down here, and what happens to their conscience? It just kind of fades away. And I don't know what's going on. People in cowboy boots, half naked, walking up and down the street.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Joey, did you find a karaoke bar last night?
No. I retired my karaoke voice about, I think it was the last time I was out with the 101 folks.
Yeah.
So that was the last go around, and I was just saying I steered clear of the main street last night. It was St. Patty's Day. It was absolutely crazy. So.
Yep, that's smart. Staying away from it.
Joey, I want to take you back a couple of days ago. Brayden Schenn, they celebrated him playing his 1,000th game. He had messages from your former teammate, Sidney Crosby, the former captain, Ryan O'Reilly. To see Brayden Schenn and know him and to watch him go throughout his career, what did that mean to see that moment for that player and what he means to this team right now?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, Brayden, of course, we kind of cracked in the league together, and we were both young, and his Philly days, my Pittsburgh days, and we just had some nasty rivalries. We almost got in a couple fights. One time it finally got broke up by the referees, and we always joke about it to this day. But, it's amazing that he continues to click at the rate he's going. He doesn't seem to be having any kind of slowing down to his career. For a while there, he was having some bumps and bruises. Didn't like he was going to pull out of it, but he's been fantastic since. And like I said to Alex and Curb the other day on the broadcast there, Carey, what's amazing about his career is that he's the same player now that he was when he started. And he started that rough, tough, third, fourth line, grind it out, hit everything, fight when you need to fight, step up for teammates. And those type of players come into the league that way. But in order to play over 1,000 games, eventually you evolve because your body can't keep up with the abuse. But that's what's amazing about him. He's continued to be that same player, even though his body's been through the ringer once or twice. Of course, in that game, scores the opening goal, gets to fight in the game. So pretty special night for Brayden.
Joe, we talked about this earlier today on BK and Ferrario, and I'm just curious your thoughts because, of course, Schenn his name was in the rumor mill as they were talking about the Maple Leafs were interested, a couple of other teams. And I said for how this season has gone since the Four Nations break, I feel like Brayden Schenn, anytime a team calls beyond this season, it's going to be a phone being hung up for how much he's impacting these younger players on the roster like Boldu, Carey, and even a Dylan Holloway.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting where I think his name was thrown out there. There may or may not have been a deal on the table. I haven't confirmed with him if he has turned down or not turned down anything that's come across him. But I look at this team, and it's just amazing to think of the players that we talk about impacting this team. And I just feel like Brayden is not given enough credit. It's the analytics of the point getters like Carey and Thomas. It's, the time on ice and the plus-minus of Colton Parayko. It's the save percentage and the record lately for Jordan Binnington. But so much of what Brayden does is just analytically can't be shown. And, of course, the biggest thing is how do you analytically prove that he has taken a group of misfits and young guys, old guys, guys looking for roles, guys looking for chemistry, guys looking for togetherness, how do you put a price tag on that? I mean, and that's what he's done. You know, I talked to him in Seattle there. We were a few weeks away from the trade deadline, and in the hallway, and he was a bit lost. The team was in a bit of a down spiral, if you remember that time. But he had his wits about him. You know, he was real about where they were at. He was real about the struggles. But also it wasn't doom and gloom like it's hopeless. He was like, we'll figure it out. We're going to get it together one at a time. If we get this guy going, if I can get going. And he started kind of shortly kind of piecing it together in a way that made sense. And sure enough, it's come to fruition. So you got to have belief in your captain. And then from there, it's a great trickle down effect. And now everyone just feels so a part of a team. They're playing for each other, Alex and Carey. And I'm overlooking the Bridgestone Arena right now, clean sheet, ready to get this thing rocking. And talking to Pete Weber this morning, he obviously calls his team. And he simply said, for all the reasons the Blues are having success, the Nashville Predators are the opposite. They're not playing a brand of hockey where they're playing for each other. This is a group of highly talented individuals, guys with 30, 40, 50-goal seasons multiple times, and their scoring is down. How do you explain that? We explain it because they're not playing for each other, and they're played as a bunch of individuals playing on the same team, and those two things are very different things.
Joey, this team has been really good on the power play. They've been good in 5-on-5. They've been good overall in every aspect of the game, goal suppression, all of those things. Alex posed this question earlier. If I were to give you one option, elite penalty killing or elite power play, which one are you choosing?
Penalty kill, every time. Penalty kill. You have to, Carey. You have to, because
well, we don't know anything, Joey, because we all chose power play.
Oh, you did? No, you got it. I would much rather have a good penalty kill, because your power play can save you, but the penalty kill, to me, that's a tone setter. You know, your power play, I guess the way I put it is this. Your power play, if you're not generating chances and you're not scoring, it's one thing. If you're not generating chances, maybe you are scoring. A lot of it comes down just to rhythm, right? But for a kill, it's not just do you score, not score. It's a momentum setter, because it's an opportunity to block shots. It's an opportunity to have your back against the wall and get through it. You know, there's a level of perkiness you get when a penalty is killed off. And look at the facts. You're going to have more success killing a penalty than scoring on a power play. So from a consistent emotional standpoint, you're going to have success doing your job as a kill more often. So it does create this like perkiness on a more consistent basis, where you kind of get through the bumps and bruises and the peaks and valleys of a game. I've seen teams with great power plays, horrible penalty kills, just not find success. It's a team-spirited affair when you're killing a penalty. It's the blocking shots. It's recovering for each other. It's being a savage in front of the net and boxing out. I mean, all the things that create a team-winning atmosphere, those things are really highlighted on a penalty kill.
Joe, we got about 2 minutes here. You've been down in the locker room with these guys on this quick road trip. What's the vibe of the team going into tonight?
They're excited. They're pumped. Lots of smiling, joking around with some of the guys who are staying hot with Bull Duke and Dylan Holloway. They're going to be shooters, they said again here tonight. Ryan Suter got a couple zippers, a couple stitches from Zachary Bull Duke this morning at morning skate. He came out, of course, joking that he doesn't think he's going to be able to play tonight after everything he's been through. A couple stitches, of course, now is going to keep him out. He was being facetious, obviously. But, you know, it's a team that is feeling really good. They got great vibes. They're having fun. Jim Montgomery was going down the hallway asking the strength trainer if they can order some Patty's fried chicken sandwiches tonight after the game. So everyone's kicking it. Everyone's having a great time, and it's really fun to watch.
Well, enjoy that Patty's fried chicken afterwards, Joe. Hopefully we'll be talking about a win, and I will be chatting with you in about 20 minutes.
Sounds good, Alex. Thank you, Carey. You guys have a great day.
You too, brother.
Joe Vitale, proving us all wrong, Carey.
Wait, what do we know?
Yeah, we don't know. That man played hockey.
He did.
All I do is pre and post.
I just talk about it.
Yeah.
I never even played.
That's all we do here on 101 ESPN. We just talk about it. Carey, you got a...
Yeah, but the tournament tip-off party. All the madness of March begins this week, and you can come watch the games this Thursday and Friday with 101 ESPN and Bud Light. Join BK and Ferrario and the Fast Lane from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Helen Fitzgerald's this Thursday. And then on Friday, you can watch both shows broadcast live from Cyberg's on Dorset from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come enjoy some food, a cold Bud Light, 101 giveaways, and plenty of screens to watch the games. Get more details at 101ESPN.com. Our tournament tip-off watch parties are refreshed by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
That's Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Alex Ferrario. We'll come back with our 3 stars of the day and what we learned as we close things down on the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN as we are winding things down with Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Alex Ferrario. Appreciate the fellas letting me hang out for the final 2 hours today. Really, Carey, I was telling Marshy this. This is so much more wanted for me rather than sitting in that office until pregame. If I sit in there for 4 hours, I start to drift and then asleep. You wake yourself back up and then you walk in here like, oh, shoot, I got a pregame to do. So this gets the energy as high as you can ask for. So I appreciate you guys letting me hang out here for a couple of hours. If you missed anything from the podcast today, Jamie Rivers was on the first 2 hours with the guys. Plenty of Blues and Cardinals conversation. We just wrapped up with Joe Vitale, and we have the Sports Six-Pack, and you can listen back to the Gauntlet if you want to. All of that for you up on our podcast page afterwards, which is presented by Schaefer Door Company. Also, the 101 ESPN app, easy to use 101 ESPN app, which is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
I thought you were going to let us do the Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
See, I was going to screw this up at some point.
Well, no, that's what you guys do on BK and Ferrari.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we had to get away from that because it went to Schaefer because we always did it on the podcast.
So how do you do it now?
So now it's Schaefer Door Company.
Cha-ching.
There you go.
And then I'll let you guys do this one in pure Ferrario fashion. You can also go back and watch it on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. Marshy does a great job of podcasting it out. You can go back and you can click specifically through the segments, and you can do so thanks to our studio cams, which are brought to you by
Air Alliance Team.
And that is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got our 3 stars of the day and what we learned. I'll kick this one off, fellas, if you don't mind, for what we learned, because I learned something about myself today on the Fast Lane.
What's that?
Hockey questions in the Gauntlet actually scare me.
I tried. Listen, it's the worst. The thing you think you know best is the worst thing to get.
When I sit in the car and listen to you guys, I'm like, I got this. Hockey, easy, easy. And then when you guys put me in the seat and Dave asked for the questions on hockey, I'm like, oh, I'm bleeped.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yep, I won by the hair of my chinny chin on that one.
I learned that you would actually rather be great at penalty killing than power play. Who knew?
Which, by the way, I looked at this. 11 of the 16 teams that are top 16 in penalty kill, 11 of the 16 are in the playoffs. Yeah. 10 of the top 16 power play teams are in the playoffs.
Okay.
One more on the penalty kill, so Joey's right.
There you go.
I learned that Carey Davis used to be an umpire.
Yes. Right, two.
It sounds just so good. If I'm a pitcher, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I love hearing it.
If you're a batter, you probably take kind of a double look.
Get the ball, get the bat off your shoulder. Swing it.
Now, when there was a ball thrown, did you... Some umpires will
ball
do this.
Outside.
Yeah, did you do that?
Every night, ball outside. You got to let them know.
You're a little close.
Yeah, you're close.
You're still a ball.
Yeah, still a ball.
Gotcha.
Where's that at? Today they don't ask. Where was it at? Outside.
Did your strike call change between a watching strike or a swinging strike?
The strike, was probably strike 3.
Yeah.
Whether it's looking or swinging.
Just
you got to get out of there. Yeah.
I didn't know if you milked it on the swinging strike.
Were you like a two-finger guy?
Strike 3. Yeah, get out of there.
I'm going to go work on
sit
my
down.
Strike calls.
I would, if I was an umpire, I'd probably do like the like a mowing the lawn. Getting
you'd pull out the wedding dance moves.
Look like I'm like doing some like Dragon Ball Z move.
Yeah.
From the 636, I learned that none of you guys can handle a vegan diet.
Oh, the 100%.
No,
you're not wrong.
Yeah. Carey, out of all 3 of us, Carey would last the longest, and I can promise you that.
I could do a vegetarian. It would be limited to 2 weeks max.
I don't even know, to go back to it, but I don't even know how, what would my meals be if I was vegan?
It would be anything you can grow in the ground.
Fruit.
Plant, fruit, grow on a tree.
Like I eat a bowl of grapes in the morning and I'm still hungry, so I got to go get pancakes or something.
Drink some water with it.
You can't eat pancakes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Can't eat pancakes if it's because that's flour, right?
Vegan pancakes.
I don't know.
Well,
are there vegan pancakes?
I'm sure there are. You could go to the store. I'm sure there's an aisle for vegan food.
You can make pancakes, I'm sure. I don't think you can put an egg in it or milk to kind of, you have to use water.
Yeah.
I know, almond milk, oat milk, maybe.
Yeah, it's got to be oat milk.
Pretty good.
I do like almond milk. I don't like oat milk. I had a friend who drank oat milk, and I tried it once, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever had.
I was going back and forth, and then I realized I do like almond milk better than oat milk.
Yeah.
I like almond milk better than normal milk.
Yeah,
me too. I can't drink regular
My
milk.
girls are in the they're in the whole milk stage. Like oh man, I've had to drink. I drank it once.
Thick as hell, isn't it?
Oh my God, I almost gagged. I'm like, what is this? This is awful.
We got a text from the 314. Since you guys love the Blues and have no respect for the Cardinals, it took the Blues 50 years to win a cup, but before that, they were the Cubs of hockey. And if they still don't make the playoffs, they still are lovable losers. I hope they fall on their face and choke. That guy's definitely not doing the vegan diet for his team.
That's harsh.
My gosh. Well, maybe he is doing the vegan diet for his Cardinals team. Stalter's Kryptonite on the Snake Pit chiming in saying, who are these chumps that are filling in for Stalter while he's out? That was BK from yesterday, and yours truly, Alex Ferraro. You can hear us Monday through Friday from 11 to 2 on 101 ESPN, and you can stick around and hear more of me if you want. I got Blues hockey coming up in just a bit.
Stalter's Kryptonite. That sounds like that must be a new
Stalter
person.
Totally started a troll to put that out there today.
Did he do that?
Maybe.
No, you know what that has been in the. I've seen that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's usually pretty cheery.
Who the hell knows? None of our listeners, our listeners, some of them are cheery, some of them are not so much.
The Snake Pit, okay? Marcia, what do we got for 3 stars of the day today?
All right, our 3rd star of the day goes out to Dave's golf balls.
Oh, yeah.
Dave's
Make sure we
golf
had
ball.
some balls.
I missed out on the balls yesterday.
Yeah, you missed out on the balls.
That's all right.
At least you heard about them, though.
I've heard about them.
Our 2nd star of the day goes to Carey Davis and his strike call.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm out of there.
I'm going to start using that with my girls next time. They like do something wrong. I'm just going to.
Anyway, what's going on here?
Knock it off.
1st star of the day goes out to the guy who's been here before I woke up today. That is Alex Ferrario.
Marcia, what time are you waking up, buddy? What time are you waking up, my man?
You text Marcia before a certain time, man.
No, don't answer?
Nah.
Marcia, true or false?
Silent.
You fall asleep prior to 2 a.m.
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Damn. So, like, what's your sleep schedule look like?
Yeah, I don't have one.
No, it's just whenever I crash, I crash?
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Do you set an alarm, or is your body...
Alarm? I have 4 alarms. I have 4 alarms.
Because you're worried you're going to sleep through it and not wake up?
Yeah, well, yes, but it's also like I have everything kind of scheduled out. So I'll set an alarm, and then I'll have another one set for 30 minutes. That allows me to sleep for 30 more minutes. And then I have another one 30 minutes later, which allows me to kind of just get up.
Start the process of waking up.
And then I have...
You have an alarm to get you to wake up.
I have another alarm that tells me when to get in the shower, and I have another alarm that tells me when to leave. Or when I should leave.
Do you know which alarm is which?
Yeah, they're all numbered, like... by the time of the day.
So alarm number 6 means I better be out of the door by now.
I should have been gone 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Golly,
but that's why we have the alarms. Otherwise,
you are my hero.
I wouldn't know when to leave.
Internally, I can't sleep past 6 anymore.
Oh,
I'll tell you this.
Stinks. I know it.
Does that ever go away?
I don't think.
No?
Once your body gets used to waking up, I don't think so.
I never go to bed before midnight. That's what I'll get.
Okay. Hey, that one I would have put all my money on with that one.
For sure.
Well, again, appreciate everyone. Let me hop in with this one today. The fellas will be back with you tomorrow from 2 to 6. For Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh, I'm Alex Ferrario. Again, make sure you check it out on the podcast page afterwards. We got Blues Hockey coming up next here on 101 ESPN.